Wah! Wah! You guys can hear me? Okay, I was waiting for the subtitles, the captions to pop up. I was like, oh no, please, please, please. Hello everyone, hello. It's Friday in California. Huh? Shuto! How you guys doing? Hello, happy Friday. It's been a busy day today. Hello, hello, how you guys doing? Let's see who we got here. Siribot, a rock. Tech School, you got your sticker. Oh my god, SIRI freaking activated on my phone. Stop, cancel? Okay. Okay, cool. Not the SIRI. But Peg School and Matthew, you got your sticker. Hello Babinka, it's me, your only viewer and my alt accounts. Hello Babinka, it's me, your only viewer and my alt accounts. Hello alt accounts. Hello, how you guys doing? Folk, you summoned the cats and you got your sticker. Hello, hello everyone. It is indeed Friday in California. Huh? Shuto. Sotenbori, hello, you got your sticker. Oh, welcome. The gun emoji. Who? Oh, is that Bodega? I was like, whose emote is that? Hello, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are ready for some art history. Wait, hold on. I gotta mute. I had to burp. That would have been improper to do on stream. Sorry, my neighbors are yelling. I think they're calling each other, but the neighborhood just keeps getting louder. Bobega. Bobega. Bobega rat. Well, hello, how you guys doing? Today was very eventful, and I wasn't expecting it to be. Like, I thought it would just be therapy sesh, but it was like 3 different kind of draining things, but fun things today. Well, one of them was fun. You should burp at them to shut up. Maybe. Can you imagine, like, you have a neighbor that just opens their window, belches, closes the window, and that just shuts up everyone? Okay, I'm hoping you guys don't hear my neighbors. They're not yelling at each other like a fight. They're yelling as in, like, they're calling someone. They're like, hey! I'll just make up a name. Ricky! Ricky! Yeah, maybe I should just burp at them. But anyway, let's get to class, shall we? Get to class! Hello. Oh, you caught me listening to K-pop. So look at my apple today. Look, you like it? You like my apple? It's a Magritte apple, because we're gonna talk about Magritte today. Wait, it's supposed to go, here we go, food guesser. For our dailies. We're actually not gonna do time guesser at the beginning of the stream, by the way. We're gonna do it either middle or end, because today's... Well, let me do my intro, right? Let me do my intro. Hello, everyone. Hello, it's me, Babinka Bear, your local sun bear, art history teacher, and educational streamer. Oh, I keep forgetting I'm trying to incorporate my new intro, right? Magandang gabinka! My Gundam's a binka! Magandang gabinka sa inyong lahat. My name is Babinka Bear, your local sun bear, art history teacher, and educational streamer. And today we're doing a style study. We're studying art styles, graphic design styles, maybe fashion, maybe cars as well. We'll see how it goes, because this is like this is the first time that we're doing this kind of style study. We've done style studies before. We did, was it Utopian Scholastic? We did, what is it? Global Village Coffee House. But I want to start a new series of style studies, essentially for the next couple months, where we just look at different designs and art by the decade. So we're actually going to start with the 1920s. I do feel... Uh-oh. Schneckry sounds like he's going to throw up. Give me a second. Okay. Schnackery did not throw up, but for any of you guys who either are or have been cat owners, I feel like you know the sound. That like scary sound where it's like, oh god, he's gonna freaking vom. But he's fine. I think because he's snoozing right now. He's snoozing. Let's see. I had some spicy brain earlier. Bought some ounces of silver bibing coin. No, bibing coin isn't real. Don't believe any person that tells you to buy bibing coin. It's not real, I tell you. Bear Guy asked it when. That would be fun. Good intro, felt very professional. Nice. Making his presence known. Anything remotely resembling the Gluck sound triggers me. Yeah, it's like that sound. It's like a and it's like, oh no. One time I heard it when because usually we kind of force the cats to leave our room before we go to bed. Just because, like, it's kind of a bother when we, like, leave the door open because it's colder and, like, all the warm air, like, goes out. But also the cats, when they have their 3 a.m. zoomies, they go through our room. So, like, we just prefer to, like, kick them out and then just close the door, you know? But sometimes we can't always do that because sometimes they fall asleep on our chairs, our, like, desk chairs. And we don't want to kick them out because they're so cute. So we just let them, we let them chill there. But we, like, hold the door ajar. We hold the door ajar. Like, we have a little thing so that it's not completely open, but it's only open, like, big enough for them to, like, go in and out. But all that to say, like, one time I was, like, sleeping, and I remember, like, hearing that sound. I started hearing the, like, throw-up sound. Like, the huh. And then I shot up from the bed. I freaking, like... I shot up from the bed, I'm like, no. I like ran to the bathroom because that's where we have our like paper towels, and I put the paper towel right in front of Schnackery, and I'm like, please not on the chair, please. Like, we have wood floors. You can at least throw up on the wood floors and that'll come off easily, but please don't vom on the carpet, don't vom on the chairs. That's gonna be such a headache to clean up, especially at 3 a.m. So far so good. He went back to snoozing. But yeah, so today was very busy, unexpectedly busy. I forgot what I was talking about before I heard the sounds. But oh yeah, we're doing a style study. We're doing it by the decade. Part of me wanted to start at the 1900s, but because it's 2020, we're in the 20s, right? The 2020s. Part of me was like, oh, I guess we should probably start at the 1920s to make it like an even 100 years. But we are gonna like touch a little bit on like a smidge of 1910 stuff. Get yourself a mini carpet cleaner. They're a lifesaver when it comes to our little fur friends. Is it like when you say mini carpet cleaner, is that like a Roomba but for carpet? When I was living with my sister, really came in handy when the dogs would yak on the carpet. Oh no. Well, if you're saying that it comes in handy, I'd be down to check it out. Yeah, is that like a Roomba or just like a solution that you like a liquid solution that you could just like spray on and it just makes the yak come out easier? Because I'm interested. But yeah, let's see. My day today, before we get into one of our dailies and then we get into our style study. So I was called in last minute to go to a school site today because someone had to call out sick. And truth be told, I don't think they really needed me there, but it was still worth it to go there just to be with my work team. Because they had more than enough people, and because of my gallbladder surgery, I can't lift things anyway. So I was like, I guess I'll be here for moral support and to like talk to teachers, but I'm not gonna be able to help you guys like lift things. So, because for context, for work, I visit different schools, and our team gives like art workshops and stuff like that. So we have a lot of art supplies. So sometimes we have to like lift those like art supplies from someone's car into like a classroom, or we have to like change the setup of like some tables and stuff. So I was just telling them like I'm not gonna be able to help you, but I can help with like other things. So, and I can help with like moral support. So I went there, and I'm glad I did because the school we're visiting has a farm. Can you believe that? It has a freaking farm. Like not a like big one, not like, they're growing things, but it's more so like like a animal farm. Okay, maybe not like the novel Animal Farm, but it's a farm with animals in it. And it was just like, this is not just a community garden, because we visited schools with a community garden before, and that was sick. Because I do think that that's a really good thing for students to learn about, is like gardening and just responsibility and stuff like that. But there was literally like animals on it, and I'll tell you more about that. But let me catch up on chat real quick. The size of a small microwave, liquid solution stuff. You put it in into the carpet cleaner, plug it in, then slowly brush it back and forth as you squeeze the trick. Oh, I see what you're saying. It sprays and gets all the yucky stuff out, and it sucks into a separate tank, which you can then wash out in your tub or on your porch. Oh, dries in less than a day. Ooh, okay. Okie dokie. Might check that out. I like the sound of that. But yeah, so we've had schools before that had community gardens, and like they usually have like classes where students learn how to garden, how to take care of like plants, crops, agriculture, all that stuff. But this school has not only a community garden, I think they also had like a mini greenhouse too. But they had animals like fenced off. Like we saw goats. There were goats, and oh, I love this song. When you and I had to say goodbye. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Did you guys see the trailer for the new Animal Farm? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy what they did to it? How they massacred my bacon like that? But yeah, there were animals in this farm. There were sheep, goats, 2 turtles, or I think 2 tortoises, and some piggies. And then some chickens, including those like really fluffy chickens that look like they're wearing pants. They had those there. It was so cool. I don't know. And it's like we like popped in during a class, and I gotta burp again. Just for a while. The shed of no return. Gosh, I remember reading Animal Farm in like a day in like high school. But I can't remember like specificities of the novel anymore. I just remember like the overarching plot and what is it, the pig named Napoleon, right? Is there an agricultural program there? Yeah, that's what we heard, is that like this school, I don't want to say too much for fear of doxing, but like it's this school is a part of like a larger agricultural like curriculum that goes from like a middle school to a high school to eventually college. So I don't know, it was just interesting. It was just interesting that they had like a whole like farm on campus, on a middle school campus. And yeah, we were there during a class too. And there were students that were like, they were carrying like wheelbarrows full of mulch, and they were like helping each other out. They were like, hey, where do you want this mulch? They were like cleaning with brooms and stuff. They were like tending to all of the animals. They were feeding them. They were like, I don't know, this might seem like kind of mundane, but it's just not something I'm used to seeing, especially from like, city kids, So it was just nice. It was just nice to see. And I tried to chat up the kids too and be like, oh, what grade are you guys? You guys like this class, blah, blah, blah. But they all seem kind of shy, which is understandable. They're middle schoolers. So look at all those chickens. But IRL, yeah, for us it was look at all those goats. I'll share some pictures with you guys in the Discord after stream if I remember, and if I don't fall asleep directly after stream. But it was so cute. I got a good picture of a goat, and the sheeps and goats were all very like used to people, so they were very gentle. Like you could pet them. I was kind of nervous about petting them though, just because like I know all the warning signs if like a cat or a dog is about to attack you. And all the places where you're supposed to pet like a cat or a dog. Like, for example, if you're like petting a dog and the dog is like giving you like the side eye, or it's like licking its nose, it might be like stressed out, and it might bite if you like stress it out even more. Cats, do I know the warning signs with cats? I'm just very wary even with our cats, because I do like giggle them. I do like, pet them a lot. And I like to pet their butts. But I can't quite say like what the warning signs are for a cat, other than like maybe the swishing tail. Oh, you know what? It's when you see the eye whites. If you look at a cat and like either its teeth are showing or like the whites of its eyes are showing, it's like it's like getting overstimulated. It's gonna bite you, you know? It's like so because I'm like familiar with that with cats and dogs, I can like you know, I feel pretty comfortable petting them. But with goats, I was like, I'm scared. I'm scared that if I like touch its horns or its butt or something, it's gonna freaking like, you know, kick me or bite me or something. So I did like pet its butt when like there was like a teacher there, the one that like leads this class. And she was like, "Oh yeah, feel free to just pet them. They're very used to people. They're very gentle. So just go ahead and pet them." And that was the only time, but usually I was like very wary. I was like, I don't want this goat to like bite my hand, you know? I'll always let an animal approach first and look indirectly and cease all contact if they keep backing away despite me going really slow. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it, right? Like never like look them in the eye because like that for a lot of animals that could be like confrontation or like a challenge, you know? Me asking the children if the goat speaks to them. It's like, hey, kiddos, that goat, does it ever speak to you? Did it ever talk? Does it ever perhaps tell you about the great Lord Baphomet? So yeah, it was just really interesting to see. I don't know. It was nice to first like just see cute animals, but also I feel like I was more impressed with like the students learning these skills of like, you know, for one, it's not even about like carrying mulch around and knowing, you know, I don't know, knowing how to clean up a space, but it's also like they were talking to each other of like, oh, like where do we put this mulch? Can you like carry this for me? Oh, can someone help me here with the chickens? It was just like a level of communication that I'm not used to with this with some of the kids I've seen, you know? The Hux emote. I was one of Momo's emotes. I was like, Hux didn't debut yet, right? I think he will soon, hopefully. But yeah. Well, I saw a bunch of Huxes. I saw a bunch of Huxes today, so that was nice. It was cute. But the only thing is that I had to like get home really quick because I had a therapy sesh and I didn't cancel it because I was like, I can make it back home in time. And I barely gotten home in time for my therapy sesh. But also my therapist would have been understanding if I was running late. And then let's see, Gojikins, hello. I was just telling the story of how today I had to go to a school site and the school site had a farm, including goats. It was so cool. Oh, wow. Hello, Galahughes. Hello. Yeah, oh my gosh, these goats. Maybe I can like show you guys some pictures of the goats. Nah, I would have to send it from my phone, and that would take some time. So I'll show you guys later. Later. But yeah, I got home in time for therapy, did therapy, and then I was gonna chill for the rest of the day until stream time. But then Beans, I won't say like the specific reason, but Beans hit me with the like, oh, we gotta go to the DMV. Like it's kind of an emergency. Oh, one card tarot reading. Oh, I don't have my hand cam set up. Let me get that set up right now. Pickles, hello. But yeah, Beans hit me with the like, oh, we gotta go to the DMV for like a very specific reason, and it like has to be today. So I don't know. Today just felt very busy. Hold on, let me set up my hand cam. Fate gotcha. Okay, let me just... Because my hand cam is basically just like the webcam I use for work. But I have to like adjust it so that it's not pointed at my face and I don't dox myself. Okay, let's see if this works. We'll do a quick one card tarot reading. Activate to the webcam. Okay, hold on. Just want to make sure there's nothing here that can dox me. Oh, you can see my Babinka. Lionel Hutz working on contingency. No money down. Okay, I don't think there's anything here, but let me move this up a little bit. And then we're gonna zoom in so that you don't see all the things on here. There we go. Yeah, I have actual bebinka. I bought some today. Cute keycaps, thank you! I love them because they're like Christmas themed. Oh my gosh, come on. We're not gonna go too far, but... Yeah, if you guys are curious what like the bebinka rice cake looks like, it looks like this. I was eating it. But I got full really quickly. We're on screen, yeah. Face reveal. I'll believe you even if you don't use hand cam. Oh, nice. I wanted to set it up anyway. Okay, let me get, I want to use my newest tarot deck because I just think it's really cool. It is the Sci-Fi Tarot. Here you go. It looks half eaten. No, that's how they all look. That's how they all look. All right, let's do a tarot card reading. This one's so cool, isn't it? I know I showed it off already, but I just like it a lot. You have a botanics themed deck. Oh, nice. If I knew a little bit more about like different plants and stuff, that's another one of those things that like I wish that it were my next hyperfixation, which it totally could, but right now I already got dinosaurs on the brain and whatnot. So let me shuffle. Oopsie. I'm not the best at shuffling yet. Watch me get the tower now! Or I'm not only scared of the tower, I'm also scared of the Three of Swords. It's like, ooh, that one's kind of scary. It's kind of spooky. Okay, let's shuffle. Okay, one card reading for Galahus. Which one should we get? I feel like this one. I used to want to get a tattoo of the Three of Swords, actually. The design itself is pretty good. Is pretty, like, sick with it, you know? Alright. Let's see. Ooh, Three of Cups reversed. Interesting. Let's see what it says right side up. Here it is. I know it might be a little hard to read the text because my light right now is a little red tinted. So it says Three of Cups, the three graces of Dimension Q, sisters, friends, and masters of revels. Right? Okay, so we have a picture here of three very gorgeous looking women. They each have different little cups in their hands. They look like very confident, so they look like they have a sense of camaraderie with each other. If I recall correctly with the Three of Cups, this is usually the cup of like teamwork, working together. But the thing with cups, because this is a minor arcana, cups is usually associated with the element of water. Wait, let me make sure my mic is like pointed towards me. Cups is associated with the element of water, but also certain things like the unconscious, your inner thoughts, emotions, relationships with other people. So this the use of like the usual symbolism for Three of Cups usually has to do with like togetherness, working together as a group or a community. You will find three cups. However, because it's reversed, that means, or the way that I typically interpret reversed cards is that like something is preventing this from happening. So there's a blockage of togetherness with either a group or a community. Excuse me. Alternatively, reverse can also mean that there's too much or like an overabundance of something within the card. So maybe it could be that like you're too much in the community or you're working too much with other people and you might need some time to yourself. But that's just kind of like my like amateur-ish like what I recall from like the traditional Three of Cups. So let's see what this little booklet can tell us. The Three of Cups. The Tres of Cups. Okay, Three of Cups. As mentioned elsewhere, humans enjoyed celebrations. Oftentimes they celebrated while drinking alcoholic beverages, which had the effect of humans of making them temporarily insane. This was seen as a positive thing. The alcohol would kill their brain cells and the humans would behave in a reckless manner. They would touch and kiss each other, get into fights, and sometimes conceive children. The Three of Cups denotes the celebration of collaboration, collaborative success, a project where each participant benefits from the process of creation. So if it's reversed, that means that there is no celebration of collaboration. The collaboration isn't like the best. The collaboration isn't happening. People aren't they aren't working together. Or there was a collaboration, but there wasn't any sense of celebrating it, you know? Let's see. I literally had to cancel stream an hour in because my Wi-Fi exploded earlier. No, so things are working against you at the moment. I truly am being gatekept from the people. No. So yeah, it could like kind of it seems like your thoughts are moving towards this like disconnect from the wider community, as in like the people of your chat, of your community, right? So it could be that like tech issues are kind of getting in the way of, and I definitely feel that, by the way. Just a couple of streams ago, I had like really bad, like I had like a lot of drop frames and it was very frustrating. So I totally get that. I totally get the frustration of like, oh man, I already like agreed to do this. I want to spend time with these this community that I like and I'm not able to, right? So this is kind of just denoting like what the current mood might be. But in terms of like what to do about it, right? What to do about it? Just my own. Thank you, Babinka Diviner. Yeah, of course. Other ways to just like still keep in touch with your community, right? This is something I've also been wanting to practice with my own community of like, even if you're not online, even if you're not currently streaming, there's still ways to yap with them, whether it be through social media. If you have like a Discord, for example, I've been trying to make a good habit of like, you know, if I'm not streaming, at least like post in the Discord. I wasn't doing a good job of it this week because I was at the office for 2 days and I just was so busy. But I try to make a habit of like posting once a day on the Discord. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but at the same time, that's fine as well. But yeah. See, speaking of exploding, I hope everyone is safe from exploding trees. I heard about that. Isn't it like there's like an ice storm that's affecting like parts of the East Coast, but also like going as far west as Albuquerque? That's crazy. Yeah, stay safe. Stay safe. Yeah. I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. No, not my extended warranty. No. Oh no, not. You don't have to worry about exploding trees. You do have to worry about exploding babinkubs, though. French accent, Albuquerque. But yeah, that's the Three of Cups. Hopefully that helped in some way. Let me know if you have any questions. But otherwise, let's go ahead and put the deck away. And then let's get back into the swing of things. Let's do one of our dailies. Let's do Food Guesser. Yeah, I think to wrap up my story from earlier, I just had a busy day. It was unexpectedly busy. Question, can I double it and give it to the next person? Double like your the frustration that you feel, or double what and give it to the next person? Because I feel like whatever you ask, I'm probably gonna say yes. 6 of Cups. Yes, you can double it and give it to the next person. All right, let me at least put the cover here. All right. Let's do our food guesser. And then I do want to get into some design study, some style study for today. We got some style study. 3 cups, but they're filled with adult beverages. Exactly. All right, food guesser. We're not going to do time guesser until like, I want to say midway through this stream. But we will do food guesser at the moment. Ooh, what is this? Ooh, buffalo milk. Salt, lime juice, or vinegar, water, or ghee. Buffalo milk. Interesting. I'm usually familiar with buffalo just being like from the Americas. Are they from... Where else do you find buffalo? There's also bison, right? I know that buffalo and bison are very closely related. Because when I see buffalo milk, I'm like, oh, this is American. But surely it's not just America that has buffalo, right? The dish is traditional artisanal cheese known for its rich and creamy texture and unique preparation method. It's made from full-fat milk and typically deep-fried before serving, resulting in a crispy exterior and gooey interior. That sounds good. That sounds good. Let's try the US first. There's just something about buffalo being listed. Oh, it's ice cold. But it's to the north. To the north, you say? To the north. Is it Antarctic? Is it? Because if it was Canada, it would say borders. It wouldn't say ice cold. So like, how far north are we talking here? Let's go to Google Maps. If you go all the way north, oh, it doesn't even let you. So would it be like because the Earth is round, is it saying that it's like South America? I'm kind of confused why it says north, but it's not Canada, right? Let's try. Okay, what's like the southernmost? Is it Chile? What's the southernmost tip of the Americas? Chile or Argentina? Let's just see. Let's just see if that's what they're trying to say. Chile. No, ice cold. Okay, so it's old world. It's like Africa, Eurasia, right? This is to the north. No, to the east. Way east. Okay. Way east. Let's try Middle East. Iran? Oh, we're getting warmer. It's a little bit more to the east. Maybe South Asia? India? Oh, I should have known. It said ghee, right? I should have known. That first compass, yeah, I was like, it's ice cold, but it's north? The only country like north of the US is Canada, but it's not, it doesn't say borders, right? So it's like, I don't know. Unless it's like, you know, unless it's trying to account for like, oh, the earth is round, so you're actually thinking south. The ghee was never optional. There you go, it's true. The ghee was kind of the dead giveaway, right? All right, what's this next one? Flour, sugar, salt, yeast, water, butter, eggs, honey, sesame seeds. The dish is a soft pull-apart bread, traditionally baked overnight. It has a rich buttery flavor and a delicate flaky texture. Okay. Tomato-based dips. Oh, so this is this sweet or savory? Because it says often enjoyed with eggs and tomato-based dips. Interesting. I'm actually not entirely sure. Maybe Western Europe? Should we try France first? France! It's cool. And it's to the east. Russia? Oh, we went colder. Okay. Kubane. So it's in between France and Russia. Kubane. Okay, so maybe Czechoslovakia, Poland? Let's try that. Oopsie, keep going to the wrong thing. Poland? Warm? And then to the southeast. Okay, maybe Romania, Bulgaria? Or Turkey? Let's do Romania. Or Bulgaria. Let's do Bulgaria. Ah, still warm. Turkey? Ah, I see. Yemeni Jews. Oh, Yemen. Oh, man. I should ask beeplebees about this one, right? Kubane. Sweet and savory? Yeah, maybe. Sesame seeds. I should have paid attention to the sesame seeds. Sesame Street. Yeah, man. Okay, so we have champagne, rye, whiskey, maraschino liqueur, pineapple juice, Angostura bitters, sugar cube, orange peel, maraschino cherry. The dish is refined mixed drink traditionally served in a flute glass. It typically combines champagne, rye, whiskey, maraschino liqueur, rye, whiskey, maraschino, oh yeah, bitters, finished with a touch of sugar and a twist of citrus peel. I feel like I've had this before. This feels, it's kind of like an old-fashioned, but sweeter, right? I don't usually like bitter tastes, but Shall we try US? Cold! Where could this be from? Let's try France again. Okay, Prince of Wales? The UK? Okay. The Prince of Wales is actually a drink. Who would have thunk it? Named after Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. The Edward? Like the... Damn, the Prince of Wales? This don't look like no whale I've ever seen. Alright, so that one... Apprentice foodie! We're an apprentice foodie. No! We've lost... We used to be a gastronomical genius. And now look at us, fallen from grace. Well, let's post our result. Under daily games. There we go. How we have fallen. We have. The Gacha Prince. The Prince of Wales. How the turntables. We'll do better next time. It's fine. In shambles we are. Oh no. Okay, so let's put that away. And let's get to some style studies. Shall we? Because typically I make like a slideshow for this, but I wanted to try something new. I'm trying out... have you guys heard of Figma? Figma balls. Just kidding. Just kidding. But it's like it seems like Canva, but more geared towards like making prototypes and designs and stuff. Got him! It's a real thing though. It's called Figma. It's called Figma. But it seems like the thing to use for like making mock-ups. I'm actually familiar with Goddess. Wait. I actually know about it because I worked on a couple of VTuber birthday projects that use Figma as a way to make a website. It's mostly used to like prototype websites, not as like an actual like server or like host for websites. But I've seen people make like cool interactive sites. Pretty sure a guy died of that. I know, poor Steve Jobs. But the thing is, like, who the heck is Steve Jobs? Who the heck is Steve Jobs? Oh no, I thought I would do the fadeaway animation. Wait, it has to be like this. Like, who the hell is Steve Jobs? I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, there we go. Pexcool gets it. But alright, so this style study, we're going to be studying art and design of the 1920s. I already did a little bit of research ahead of time, but there's actually some stuff that I want to research right here, right now, right here, right now. This is also an attempt for me to get good at time guesser. I want to be like a time guesser expert by the time we finish these style studies, right? But I want to do it decade by decade. That does mean we're going to be missing out on 1900s and 1910 stuff. But at the very least, we're going to get good at the 1920s to the 2020s. All right, all right. But let me show you what I got so far. So up here, this is actually from Figma. I used a whiteboard which can like go infinitely in multiple directions. But hold on, let me set up my screen here. So, you know, you can go infinitely in different directions, but you can also zoom in infinitely. Well, I don't know about infinitely. Nah, it does have a limit, but you can zoom in and out, and I just think that's really cool. But I have here, I've divided it into like the 1920s, and eventually we're going to keep adding like the different decades to this. So I put here like current events to kind of just give like some context as to what's happening. And then we look into different art movements from that decade. So I chose, there's a whole bunch of different like popular art movements in the 1920s, but I just picked like the top 3 that are kind of like the most relevant to the decade. Because for example, I picked Art Deco, Dada, and Surrealism, but there's actually like a whole bunch of other art movements that were popular around this time, such as like Expressionism and Cubism, but they either got their start a lot earlier and just got more popular during this time, or they got their start like like this was like the beginning of that art movement, but it wouldn't get popularized till like much later. So I chose those three. And then I also chose a couple of things that I want to keep researching further. Because, like, I've definitely heard the name Georgia O'Keeffe. Like, she's definitely like a popular artist, but I actually don't know too much about her. I feel like I'm a fake art historian by saying that, but I actually don't know that much about Georgia O'Keeffe, so I wanted to research her a little bit. And then I also want to research 1920s fashion and car designs, because I feel like if you want to get good at time guesser, that's what you get good at. Like, you have to look at the fashion, the car design, and maybe even like what film technology was like at the time, you know? Like which places had access to like color film and whatnot. So that's what I have so far. So as you can see, I did like research ahead of time, but then there's still stuff that we're gonna research together. We're gonna learn together. I'm gonna learn today. I have to learn today. We're gonna learn today. But yeah, so here's what I got so far. And you guys are also like totally okay to add to anything that I've missed, because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I mostly focus like in my like historical practice and research. Nobody leaves until we learn today. In my own personal like historical practice, I actually focus on like ancient civilizations and like I want to say medieval times, but really I only know about like super hyper specific things about medieval times, like art, Gothic architecture, and like certain parts of like marginalia. If you were to ask me about like what was warfare like in medieval times, I'm like, I don't know. They had horses, maybe. Like, so my stuff is usually like, I don't know, a little bit further back in terms of historical stuff. I'm not really like, not that I'm not an expert, but my focus isn't usually in contemporary times, or at least this last century, right? So I actually am going to be doing a lot of learning alongside you guys. Like, I have studied a little bit of modern art. And surrealism is actually one of my favorite art movements of all time. I have a lot of favorite artists from that movement. And I did study a little bit of Dada, but some of this is going to be a lot of like learning alongside each other. The ancient civilizations of the early 20th century. Oh, jeez. Have you guys seen that? Like, I think like a professor got an email from a student being like, I wanted to know if it's okay if I use sources from the late 20th century, because I found a source from 1994 and it's like, ugh. Yo, Choa, how was, wait, what's today? Today's Friday. How was pre-release? I heard from Devin that there were 2 pre-releases. I wasn't able to make it out to either, but yeah, I'm listening to XG. I want to get into them. I want to get into XG. Turns to Sand, yeah. Yeah, I just hearing people refer to the 90s as like the late 20th century is like, ugh, or like the late 1900s is like I'm turning to dust. I'm fading away. I'm fading away. Like, watch this. Teacher Binka, is it okay if we use sources from the late 20th century? Because I found a source from 1994. Is that okay? And I'm just like, Not today, unfortunately, just yesterday. Oh yeah, sorry, I misspoke. I meant yesterday and last Saturday. Missed yesterday's pre-release because I went to a Twice concert. I saw a lot of my friends posting about that concert. Was it good? Was it great? Shinri does that as a super annuated man born in the late 20th century. No. But no, it's not ancient history, I swear. This is within the last century. But yeah, so the 1920s. I remember when I was like learning about the 1920s, and then when I was eventually teaching about the 1920s at like a for-profit school, I still didn't quite understand how the Great Depression worked. But also that's the 1930s, so we won't get to that just yet. Not yet, at least. But 1920s, I feel like when a lot of people think of the 1920s, they think of like the Great Gatsby and like the Roaring 20s, right? It's like, oh yeah, there was like more female liberation because women were able to have short hair and short skirts, and they were able to be flappers and stuff like that. Because that's definitely like how I grew up, like seeing the 1920s. But it wasn't until like much later on that, you know, it's like, oh, that's just like a small bit of the population was able to have that lifestyle. And even though women could have short hair, that didn't mean that they were like super ultra liberated. They were still expected to like get married, have a family, you know, take care of the kids, and like your liberation was like at the home, like in like I hate saying this phrase, but like in the kitchen, right? So yeah, that idea of like, oh, they could have short hair now and they could have short skirts, well, didn't necessarily mean that like they like from like a societal standpoint we're actually like quote unquote liberated. Arguably, can you even say that liberation has been achieved in the 2020s? Anyway, the people experiencing it also didn't understand how Great Depression worked either. I mean, we're experiencing Great Depression 2.0, right? The Great Depression was like the 2008 recession with less internet and more sepia filters. Yeah, right? And that one famous picture of the mother with her children, that people always say that like, "Oh, can you believe that she's only 24 years old and she has like so many wrinkles?" And I think there's like a well actually like a oh, what do they call it on Twitter when they're like a community note where it's like, actually she's not 24, she's like 40 or something like that, or 6. I forget. Or I could be completely wrong. But you guys know the picture I'm talking about, right? It's like a mother with her children and she's like looking off to the distance, uncertain about how her life is going to play out. But yeah, like a lot of people associate the 20s with like the roaring 20s. Post-war what is this? Often seen as a time of post-war prosperity, but not for all. So for example, for the farmers, they did not see this as like the roaring 20s because well, basically from what I've learned just from like reviewing the history of the 1920s, there was prosperity, but it was like a fragile prosperity. It was like a lot of people depending on credit rather than like, you know, actual hard money. So like as long as the banks are doing good, everyone's doing good, right? Dust Bowl chic, exactly. So during this time, because there was the grapes of wrath, here's the grapes and here's the wrath. That's actually one of my like favorite underrated like Simpsons jokes. Thank goodness we don't rely on credit now. I know, right? It's a good thing the banks are too it's a good thing that the banks are too big to fail, right? Anyway. But yeah, it's like a fragile prosperity. People like overly depending on credit, and because they have that credit, it's like, oh, I could buy whatever I want, right? Yes, folk gets it. So it's like an underrated, I feel like it's an underrated Simpsons joke where like all the Simpsons kids in the elementary school do like a diorama based off of a book, and Nelson just like, I think his diorama is just like grapes. And then he's like, I did the grapes of wrath. Here's the grapes, and here's the wrath. And he like smashes the grapes and it just makes a mess. I always think of that. Anyway, so lots of people had credit. So they were like, oh, we could spend this invisible money on things. So for example, affordable cars, because this was also the time of like mass production and affordable cars because of Henry Ford's like Model T, right? So people could afford cars. Cars used to just be like a nifty little thing that rich people had, right? Because only rich people could afford it. But now that there was like the assembly line, it was cheaper to make them and cheaper to sell. So now more people were having cars. And we're actually gonna go into cars of the 1900s. I found this cool site. I'll share it with you guys. Because like I said, I want to learn car designs too. I feel like this is gonna help us with Time Gusser. There you go. Cars by the decade. Because yeah, if you look at like cars at first, they just look like horseless carriages, right? And then these are mostly just for like rich people. And then it's not until the 1920s, oh my gosh, swan car. It's not until the 1920s that you see like more people using them. So let's see, what else? Oh yeah, and because people could not only afford cars, but also manufactured goods. So for example, like a washing machine, or like a radio and stuff like that. They didn't have to spend all day washing clothes or all day doing chores. They had more time for leisure and consumerism and for buying things. And what do you do for leisure? Well, you watch silent films with the likes of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. What did I put here? Oh yeah, there was also the Harlem Renaissance. So like this time you saw more people, especially black folks, African American folks, migrating into cities, like Harlem, and then you got to see like great minds coming together to form like all the hallmarks of like the Harlem Renaissance. And then I also put here inklings of female liberation, like I said before, short hair and short skirts and stuff, but there was still a lot of expectations. There was still a lot of expectations of like, you gotta marry, you gotta take care of the kiddos, you can have your short hair if you want, but you know, don't think that this liberates you from being under the control of men. However, one of the big things about the 1920s was that this was right after the Great War, which they didn't call it World War I at the time because World War II didn't happen. It's like that joke. I feel like, was it on Doctor Who or just like a joke in general where like if you travel back in time to like, you know, during the Great War or World War One, and it's like, is this before or after World War II? And the person's just like, what do you mean World War II? It's like if someone were to travel to now, it's like 2026, and they're like, oh, is this before or after World War III? Or is this before or after the Great Corpo Wars? And it's like, the what? Harlem Renaissance, like the Renaissance, but with less Black Plague and more Reconstruction. Yeah, exactly. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like the Great War was kind of like, this was directly after it, and when we get into like the art styles, a lot of these art styles are mostly a reaction to the Great War in some time. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Is this before or after the zombie apocalypse? And you're just like, I want to say before? Like, is this before or after the unending suffering with the Hornets? Like, the what? Taz Boreal, hello. We're learning about the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, the Jazz Age, and whatnot. But yeah, so the Great War ended, what, 1918, right? Or was it 1918, right? I keep missing my years. I'm pretty sure World War II is what, 1939 to 1945, right? Or 1946? I need to memorize it. But the 1920s came directly after the Great War. So a lot of things like were kind of like the result of like wartime. So one of the consequences of that, though, especially related to things like the Harlem Renaissance and like inklings of female liberation, is that the Great War had it brought a resurgence in like patriotism of like, yeah, we won the war, yeah, like, or at least in America. In America, like there's this resurgence of like ultra nationalism and patriotism of like, yeah, we won the war, USA, like stuff like that. But that also introduced or kind of like revived a lot of xenophobia of like, yeah, us Americans, us, you know, like white Protestant Americans, not the brown people or the Catholic people or the Jewish people, right? Like, so this brought like a resurgence of that. And like one of the videos that I watched to like prep for the stream showed that like there was even like a resurgence in the Ku Klux Klan, right? Like the KKK saw like record numbers because of this. So that's unfortunate. And there was also like on a wider government level, restrictions on immigration to the point where like people from Asia couldn't migrate to the US, except for Filipinos. And that's only because the Philippines was an American possession, an American like essentially like a colony back then, because they quote unquote won the Philippines from the Spaniards in the Spanish-American War, completely ignoring the fact that the Filipinos wanted liberation from the Spaniards. But that's a topic for another day. But yeah, like Filipinos could come, but even then there was like a hard limit of like, I forgot the number, but it was like only, I want to say like 200 Filipinos could migrate a year or something like that, except for Hawaii because they needed labor in Hawaii. And then finally, like the glam and roaring 20s sentiment ended very abruptly with the stock market crash, leading to the Great Depression, which, like I said, I still don't completely understand. Like, imperialism, exactly, Matthew, exactly. But we'll get to the Great Depression when we get into the 1930s. But for now, let's focus on the 1920s. So, hey, Mega Bronson, yo, what's up? We're learning about the 1920s right now. So, if you think about the 1920s and the three art forms we're gonna go through, or art movements, a lot of them, or all of them, are actually kind of reactions to the Great War, but in different ways. So we're gonna start with Art Deco, which was kind of like a reaction against like, the video that I watched said austerity, but I like to think of it as like the strictly like utilitarian, non extravagant. Wait, what's the like antonym? Antonym extravagant. Frugal, I guess. Thrifty? Yeah, there we go. Thrifty, frugal. It was like a reaction against like the thrifty and frugal ways and like austere ways of like the 1910s and the Great War. Oh, we already have an ad break? No. Well, you know what? It's good. It's a good thing because when we come back from the ad break, we're going to talk about art. All right? Hell yeah, I took classes that went through the Western history and philosophy, the art it inspired. Nice! Yeah, I was gonna say, like, folks in the Bibink Cubs, you guys are also totally welcome to add in anything that I missed from this. Because like I said, I'm pretty rusty when it comes to contemporary history. So feel free to add as you need. But we do have an ad break coming up. I'm gonna eat the rest of my bibinka. My pastry bibinka. And I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes. All right, I'll put you guys over here in the cub corner so that we can appreciate it. I just like looking at it so much. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, we're back. We are back. I not only have like bebinka pastry next to me, I also have a sandwich. So I've just been munching on it. So if you come back from break or you don't go on break because you have a subscription and you just see me chewing, don't worry, I'm not muted. I'm just chewing. Let's see. What were you guys discussing? Bebinka devouring her cubs? No. I don't remember anything funny enough. My class didn't go through modern history beyond World War II. Oh, interesting. That was the follow-up class for postmodern US history. I'm even more weak on like anything that happened like after World War II. Because I think you guys talk about later, but I'm trying to remember like I feel like because I'm thinking of our like high school class. Because I know you're talking about a completely different class, but I'm thinking about like our high school class of like, did we go over things like I feel like we did go over like Vietnam War, but I don't think we went over the War on Terror because we were like living through it. Well, I think our textbooks did have 9/11 because, you know, like that was already like, you know, 7-8 years before. After World War II was just the Cold War. Maybe we stopped at World War One, and then I don't know. Textbooks discuss the Vietnam War and War of Terror. Vietnam for sure because we discussed the rise of the anti-hero. Whenever I see your model chewing, I just imagine you making nom 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 sound. Nom 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 nom. In high school, I don't remember going past World War II too much. I'm so glad you said that because I honestly don't remember. Like, I feel like we did. I feel like we did go over like Vietnam and like maybe the beginning of the War on Terror with like 9/11. But I think by that point, because it's like the end of the semester, I feel like everyone was just like burnt out. Because it's like we already memorized all of the intricacies of like the world wars. You know, everyone's like too burnt out to like care about Vietnam and Korea and like Operation Desert Storm and all the things, right? Your model makes the Homer Simpson eating donuts sound. Yum, yum, yum. Babinka. Since you're from California, were you able to take Asian American history classes? I was in one of the few colleges on the East Coast with an Asian Am studies minor. Asian Am is definitely like, I definitely see people with that as like a minor here on the West Coast. I have friends that did do Asian Am. I personally didn't, and the only class that I took, I actually like kind of audited. Like I didn't take it for credits. I took it because like it was a Filipino American experience class. So like it was just such a rare class to see that by the time I wanted to sign up, it was already full. But I talked to the professor and he's like, "Oh, you can't take it for credit, but you could still like sit in on the class if you want." And that professor was really cool too. So, what were they mining? Hello, good evening, George. They're mining Asian Americans. It's true. It's true. No, yeah, Asian American. I feel like I've only seen people with a minor in Asian Am studies, but I'm sure it's also a major. Asian Americans in the mine. No. But yeah, so like I honestly don't remember. Like I feel like they did try to teach us about Vietnam back in high school, maybe Korea. But like I think by that point everyone was just like burnt out. Everyone was just like, I'm tired. I'm gonna graduate soon, you know? No, actually world history would have been 10th grade. Cause I remember I took AP Euro. I took AP Euro like I wanna say my junior or was it senior year? The Asian American children yearn for the mines. No. Alright, let's get back into our style study, shall we? I was a history buff in high school. I wanted to call myself a history buff in high school too, but the thing is I was just a Hetalia fan. Because that was like the beginning of me getting into Hetalia was like, I think junior year of like high. Oh no, it might have been when I took world history. So, because I remember I actually used Hetalia to memorize like the allies and the Axis powers. Back when History Channel had shows about history. I know, right? Instead of like Pawn Stars and like Ice Road Truckers and stuff like that. Man. Man, human. Okay, so the 1920s had a lot of different art movements, but I'm gonna focus on like these three: Art Deco, Dada, Surrealism. Dada, Surrealism is kind of like they're very linked together, but Art Deco is kind of like one of those art movements that people think of a lot when it comes to like the 1920s. So Art Deco. I have a couple of pictures here. One is from New York, the Chrysler Building, and another is from here, sunny Los Vincos. This is actually City Hall. I've seen it a couple of times. It's funny. I have a friend that well, I guess it's not really doxing if he doesn't work there anymore, but I remember like he had this like gimmick. He would like send his friends this video of like he like used to work at the building right next to City Hall. So he would do this thing where he's like he would take a video. This was like back in the time of like Snapchat. So I don't know if it was a Snapchat video, but I remember it was like a vertical video where he would just like take a video of like the City Hall and he'd be like, you see that building over there? That's City Hall. You see it? I don't work there. I work at this building. And he like pans over to like a much smaller building right next to City Hall. And it continued because like he continued working at places that just so happened to be right next to like really big, like, you know, notable buildings in Los Vincos. He'd be like, you see that building over there? And it's like this huge, like really nicely like designed building. He's like, you see that place right there? I don't work there. I work at this building. And it just pans over to like a much smaller building. Oh, I love that. Love that for him. But all right, so let's go over Art Deco first. This is Art Deco. This is a lot of people confuse it with Art Nouveau because they do tend to look pretty similar, but there are some differences. And Art Nouveau was actually started the decade before. So unfortunately for the Art Nouveau fans, we're not going to go too much into it, but one thing to know between Art Deco and Art Nouveau is that Art Nouveau is very like organic. It has a lot of organic shapes. So like the shapes that you would see on like leaves or clouds or nature and plants and stuff. Art Deco is more geometric. So for example, like this elevator is such a good example. I think this is from the Chrysler Building. So as you can see here, like it's very geometric, as in it uses like those like really bold shapes that you would learn about in like elementary school, right? Oh, we're so Art Deco. Exactly. Look at this. Look at this opulence. And we pet the cats. Thank you, folk. So yeah, Art Deco is marked by these like really bold geometric shapes. So not as much. That's really cool. Yeah. We're just so Art Deco now. Let's see. What did I put here? Oh yeah, so as I said before the ad break, Art Deco is kind of a reaction against like this kind of like sobering, austere, frugal, like utilitarian style of like the Great War, where you kind of had to like you couldn't be too luxurious during the war because for one it was wartime. And you had to like save up on your supplies. You had to be very frugal, you had to be very thrifty. So this is a reaction against that of like the war is over, fellas. The war's freaking over. Let's celebrate. Let's show off our riches and our luxury, right? So the style was marked by the use of bold geometric shapes, as I said, but when I say bold, I mean things like zigzags, sunburst, and like step forms, so like lots of angles and stuff like that. And this is because things with we went over this when we were learning about like art appreciation and how shapes do have kind of shape language to them. When you see things with these sharp angles, like triangles, sunbursts like that, it gives us a sense of dynamism, of like a lot of energy. Because in nature, when you see things with these shapes, it's usually like a sign of danger, like sharp edges on like, say like a canine teeth, or sharp edges on like a leaf, or a lightning bolt usually has these like sharp angles and edges to them. So they're dangerous, but they're also very dynamic. So it like gives off a sense of energy to it. So this style is very energetic in that way. But it also is very influenced by technology. A lot of the shapes that you see are also very streamlined, and they're usually very symmetrical. Like look at the architecture on both the Chrysler Building and LA City Hall, or Los Vincos City Hall. Very symmetric. Right? There's actually a cool, this has nothing to do with Art Deco, but I remember one time when I was going throughout Los Vincos watching like Filipino like dance shows and stuff. One time my group stopped by Bear CLA, or how do I say this? Los Bincos. What is it? University of California, Los Bincos. So what is that? UBLB? I'll just say UCLA. We went to UCLA during one of our stops, and they have a really interesting building that is, it at first glance it looks symmetrical, but it's not. There's like little like asymmetrical things like the let me see if I could what's the name of that building? Building UCLA asymmetrical. It's called Royce Hall. It has nothing to do with Art Deco, but because we were talking about symmetry, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, like, someone told me about this building. Here, I'll paste it up here, just so you know that it has nothing to do with Art Deco. So, like, at first glance, it's symmetrical, right? But then, like, the more you look at it, the more you realize that, like, it's actually not symmetrical. Because, like, look at, I think the most obvious difference for me is, like, look at the top where it has, like, these 3 windows, and then the other side just has 2. And then, like, the windows over here, the windows over here are different. So there's just, like, a lot of asymmetry. And there was, like, an old wives' tale. Or I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or if it's, like, it's just, like, a rumor. But the rumor is that, like, if you study architecture at UCLA, one of the, like, exams that you're given is to, like, find all of the different... Find the difference, basically. Find all of the asymmetries in the building. I don't know if that's legit or not, but that does... I don't know. Something about that seems legit, right? So yeah, I just thought that was neat. This is definitely not Art Deco, by the way. I actually don't know what this style is, because it's not Gothic. Yeah, I actually don't know, because like the arches are curved. There's bell towers. Maybe Romanesque? Sounds like a JRPG quest. Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does. Let me delete that. But yeah, going back to Art Deco, so yeah, usually these are going to be like symmetrical. Even like the elevator in the Chrysler building is pretty symmetrical, not perfectly. Actually, I don't know if this is this the elevator? Because there's like double doors here. It says pull. You don't usually pull in an elevator, so it might just be like an entrance. What else? What else? Art Deco equal. Yeah, BTAS. Yeah, actually, we could look at BTAS screenshots. Let's do like backgrounds. Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, actually. Because it also has like very bold colors. There we go. Like, look at these bold colors, right? And the use of like geometric lines. Very Art Deco, very 1920s inspired. What's the name of the artist? Is it Paul Dini? I know Paul Dini is the one who created Harley Quinn, but is he also the one that directed BTAS? Because I think he's the reason why it has this style, right? And I think I also heard something where like the way that the artist like designed BTAS is that it's actually on black paper and they just draw on top of the black paper instead of like white paper, and they just like, you know, put in like the dark colors. And Ghosty, hello! Welcome, welcome. We're talking about some 1920s art. Let's see, what else did I put here? Yeah, bold and vibrant colors. You don't really see it that much in like the architecture, but you do see it in like the art forms over here. Like this is the work of Tamara de Lempicka, who I just found out about today, and Georges Lepape. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But you do see like use of like very bold coloring. And then lastly, you kind of see it here, but not really. There's also influences, especially in the architecture, from East Asia, specifically like Japan. I'll be lurking while I keep writing. Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. Yeah, good luck with the writing. East Asia, Ancient Egypt, and Mesoamerica. And funny thing about like the Mesoamerican influence, Beans and I were watching a show called, oh, it's a new one. The Studio? Is it called The Studio? The Studio TV show. With Seth Rogen. It's an interesting one. We just watched the first episode and it seems pretty lolzy, but there's a scene in The Studio where it talks about like a building that is called like Maya Revival style. Maya Revival architecture. I'll put it here so you guys can see. Can we do dark mode? Yeah, let's do dark mode. So yeah, this is a style from the 1920s, so it is pretty Art Deco. It's meant to kind of like harken back to like Maya architecture. I do think that it's cool. There are some places where I'm like, this doesn't really feel Maya, but it does have like some Maya motifs. But yeah, I think that this is also a pretty cool style. But it's cool that this style is like there are influences from East Asia, Ancient Egypt, and Mesoamerica, but a lot of art historians will also describe it as more not really influence, but more so appropriation. Because they're just kind of like taking and grabbing what styles they can from it. I didn't write down the names of any notable architects, but I did write down the names of some notable artists that, like I said, oh, why did my hand turn into that? Is it because I was doing this? I'm waving. How do I turn it off? Why is my cursor a hand now? But anyway, this is the art of Tamara Lempicka and then Georges Lepape. And this is also pretty Art Deco. Like, look at the symmetry in here, the use of like the bold colors. You don't see as much of the like bold geometric shapes, but it is pretty bold in its like coloration. Here though, you do see like, especially this work right here. Once again, this is like my first time actually like observing the art of Tamara de Lempicka. But there's a very like cubist feel to this kind of art. Like the way that the ruffles are, it feels geometric, even though like technically it's not, right? But something about it feels very angled, very like geometric about it. So yeah, that also is like very Art Deco in its own way. It's almost cute, like it feels like it's almost like branching into cubism, which is very, very geometric, but not quite, right? So yeah, that's Art Deco. That's like this luxurious, like there's an emphasis on luxury, precious material, and this emphasis on like, yeah, the war's freaking over, baby. Like we don't gotta be poor no more. We don't gotta act poor. We could act rich now. Like it's a very Great Gatsby style, if you're thinking about it. However, that's actually not the only reaction to the Great War, because now we're gonna go into Dada and Surrealism, and this kind of goes in a completely different direction. Not the opposite direction, but a different direction. So I'm gonna start first with Dada. Dada is another reaction to the war of the Great War, World War One. But it was a reaction against like the horrors of war. What did I write here? The nonsensical brutality and absurdity of like the Great War, because the Great War is kind of the first, like, it's not really the first modern war. I think people have said that the Napoleonic Wars were more like the first modern war, but because of the advent of photography, because remember the photography came about in like the 1890s and it started to be more widely used by the 1910s. Because of that, people were able to see pictures of what actually happened in the war. And of course, people were fighting in the war as well. But like people who weren't on the front lines, they were seeing pictures. They weren't seeing like romanticized paintings of war anymore. They were seeing like actual pictures. They were seeing like the effects of like, you know, trench warfare. So they were seeing like the horrors of war. People were freaked out by it. They were freaked out by like how brutal it was and by how like horrific it was. So it got to the point where people were like low-key traumatized by this. And then of course there's the people that actually fought in the war and had like actual like PTSD and stuff. But there was a reaction against this. And the reaction kind of manifested in different ways, but in Dada specifically, it was to kind of say like, you know what, if this world is nonsensical, art is also nonsensical. It's people call Dada very anti-art because it was trying to defy conventions of what is considered art. Because like I said, like at this point people were like, this world is nonsensical. If we're allowing for young boys to go out and get their limbs blown off, then, you know, what else is this world allowing? Like, Dada is very anti-art, anti-establishment, anti-war, anti-nationalism, like everything. So it tried to paint art as like not even art. It tried to call into question of like, what is art? Photography was also a thing for 1865 for the Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It was a thing in the Civil War because you did also see pictures of like Abraham Lincoln and the soldiers, right? I think the reason why it was like only a little bit different from like, because now I'm wondering like if that's the case, how come we didn't get like Dada-esque art as early as like the Civil War, right? And I think it was because of also like increases in technology, in like war technology at the time. Because don't get me wrong, Civil War was still pretty brutal. Back then, an audience would set up outside the battle to watch. That's crazy. That's interesting. That's wild. So that's something we're thinking about is like, why didn't we get, or did we get like a Dada like movement, but I just don't know about it. A Dada movement after the Civil War, right? That's a good question to ask. But yeah, so with Dada, they're trying to like call into question like, well, what is art? If nothing makes sense anymore, then what is art? And one of the most famous examples of like this question of like what is art is what's called Ready-Mades by Marcel Duchamp. So is he French American or just American? I forget. But ready-mades are basically just ordinary objects, but recontextualized as art for art's sake and like because the artist said so. So a good example of this, like an infamous example of this, is this. This is called the fountain, but it's actually just a urinal. It's actually just a urinal. And it was displayed at like an art show. I don't know if it's an art show or something, but it's basically because it was one of those things where like Duchamp was like, you know what, I'm an artist and I'm gonna display this and I'm calling it art. And it's art because I say it's art. I was going to say I heard the Civil War was the first modern war, but I wasn't sure if it was only US or not because it was a US history class I heard it in. Oh, that's true. Exactly, Matthew, the banana nailed to the wall. Exactly. That is actually one of the best examples of like modern Dada, or I guess contemporary Dada. Of like, if you guys don't know about well, I feel like a lot of people know about it, but what's the name of that artist? Let me see. Banana, duct tape, art. Comedian. By Mauricio Catalan. Here you go. So this is like prime Dada here. Comedian, the one where it's the 2019 artwork where it's just like a banana duct taped to a wall. It's one of those things to yeah. It was taped to a wall. Where it was like, it's art because I say it's art. And then people like went along with it. It's like, oh yeah, actually, like the artist says that it's art, so it's art. You know? And it's one of those things that calls into question of like, oh, is it really art just because the artist says it's art? Is this really like the state of art right now? So basically like this is basically what was happening back in the 1920s when Duchamp like took a urinal, like of all things, a urinal, something that for people to piss in, for people to pee in. And he said like, oh, actually it's a fountain and it's art because I say it's art. And it wasn't him being naive and being like, no, it is art. It was kind of like a commentary on like, oh, are you really going to believe that it's art because I say it's art? You know? So it was one of those like beginnings of what we think of like modern and contemporary art of like, okay, what does art mean? And is it art because there is discussion around it? Or do you have to have some kind of like, is it only considered an art when you consider it like aesthetically pleasing to the eyes? I like the 3-minute sculptures that appeared in the Red Hot Chili Peppers video. I'm actually not familiar with that one, but I should ask Beans because he is a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I watched Isekai where modern plumbing is considered a miracle. Yeah, I feel like I've heard about an Isekai like that when I was watching Mother's Basement. Let's see. This is another work of Duchamp where he like puts a mustache on the Mona Lisa. And that also calls into question of like, oh, is this considered art? Because I took something that's very recognizable, but I changed it. Is that art? I unfortunately forgot the name of this photographer, but there is a photographer who like was controversial because they just copied other people's photography. Whoa, hello. Thank you for the raid. Marshmallow Bears. Welcome, welcome. Camp Raid. Hello, welcome guys, welcome. How you guys doing? I'm Babinka Bear, your local Sun Bear art history teacher and educational streamer. And today we're learning about art specifically art of the 1920s. I'm presenting what I know, but we're also doing a little bit of learning along the way. But how are y'all doing? Marshmallow, hello, welcome, welcome. How was your stream? You were writing and reading. Ooh. If you don't mind me asking, what were you writing and reading? And if you have to raid and run, no worries at all either. Same with all the folks, all the campers that came with you. Don't worry at all if you have to raid and run. But if you're able to stay, we are going to be talking about 1920s art, but also let me know how your stream went. I hope it went well. Let me see. Camp raid, welcome, welcome. Dropping off the campers? Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we're in the middle of discussing art from the 1920s. So we talked about Art Deco. We're talking about Dada. We'll go over Surrealism. And then if we have time and energy, I want to learn a little bit more about 1920s fashion and car design. Because I want to get good at time guesser. So yeah. Let me read. I call it failed shelving unit with stupid stuck chainsaw and applesauce. Is that the Simpsons reference? the outsider art. Let's see. Howdy Raiders. Bears raiding bears? Yeah, true. Bears raiding bears. Camp raid. Hello, Robin Red Panda. Doing good. Stream was good. We were reading an indie visual novel that just came out called Whodunit? A silly mystery story. Oh, I love that. I love the sound of a silly mystery story. Nice. And then Mega Bronson, I'll get to your message. Let me just say hello to folks. I just love sulfuric acid. Astaroth Umnia, hello. Camp Raid. Nice, nice. Let's see. All right, so Mega Bronson said, I've had this discussion with my friend when we go to street art galleries, and I always ask if it's still considered street art, though. And there was one guy that I felt was so wrong when it comes to what I think is a street artist doing an art show. Interesting. My interest is piqued in terms of like what this person is saying, right? What are they super saying? Mass bomb. Happy New Year and Friday. Yes, exactly. We are being raided. No, we got raided. Yeah, I'm curious, Mega Bronson. Like, what was that one guy saying? Well, only if you want to share. Totally up to you. But yeah, we were discussing Dada art. I think I was saying, oh yeah, so this is another example of Dada art where like someone, Marcel Duchamp, he like put a mustache on the Mona Lisa and like added other things, and it puts into question of like, you know, the authenticity of art. If you just copy like a famous artwork and adjust it, is it considered your art, like ownership of art? And I was being reminded of, I unfortunately forgot the name of the photographer, but I studied them when I took a history of photography class, where they literally just copied other people's photographs and just put their name on it, and that was it. And it's one of those like absurdist, like, oh, because you just like plagiarize someone else, is that art, you know? Because you're still having a discussion about it, you're still talking about it, but it's not really your photograph. We can have a whole discussion debate on it, to be honest. We spent the entire car ride discussing it. Okay. I am interested. Let's see, I put here Andre Breton, Marcel Duchamp, Hannah Hoch or Hawk. So one example too of Dada art is this idea of photo montage or like collage. So even though I'm sure people did it before this time, photo montage or like photo collage became more popularized through the Dada movement. And this is an example because it was recontextualizing already existing pictures, artwork, newspaper articles. Actually, on that note, there was a cool, like, one way to kind of describe like the essence of Dada is there is this famous like instruction guide on how to make Dada poems, and the instruction guide goes something like this: take a newspaper or a text of your choice, cut out all the words, put all the words in a bag or a hat, shake it around, and then dump it on the floor, and then whatever you got there is your poem, right? So actually, I did find a Dada poem generator. Oh, here we go. To make a Dadaist poem, take a newspaper, take some scissors, choose from this paper an article of the length you want to make your poem, cut out the article. Next, carefully cut out each of the words that make up this article and put them all in a bag. Shake gently. Next, take out each cutting one after the other. Copy conscientiously in the order in which they left the bag. The poem will resemble you. And there you are, an infinitely original author of charming sensibility, even though unappreciated by the vulgar herd. Tristan Zara, 1920. So here is, I suppose, a poem. Whose woods these are, I think how. Let's make a dada. Fill and see, we think up little, year are the. With near I have must woods my, they not to some the, and are two, sounds darkest, he between is he, his harness woods. So there you go. You have yourself a Dada poem. Good job. Good job, class. I saw this in my recent art history course to challenge how art is traditionally made. Exactly, Astaroth. Exactly. 100%. This, the context of Dada is that it comes right after the Great War, what we know as World War I. So, like, this is kind of a reaction against, like, the horror, the absurdity of war, and this idea of, like, if the world is so absurd that they allow young boys, young kids, essentially, to have their limbs, like, blown off, then, like, how absurd is the world? How absurd is art? And, like, now is the time to, like, question what is, not even just how art is made, but just like what is art. So we talked about ready-mades. Photo montage is the same in that, like, it's kind of recontextualizing the original, like, cut, like the original, you know, wherever this picture is from, the newspaper where these words are from, where these letters are from, and it recontextualizes it. I tried doing that in junior high school. Most of the conjunctions and short words get left at the end, so your poem finishes off with a bunch of "if of the and." I love that. I love that. I dig that. All right. So yeah, there's that. I also put in a couple of photos by Man Ray, who's also known as like a Dada artist. Check out, I definitely recommend the photos of Man Ray because he also delves into a little bit of surrealism, which is the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Because this is my jam here. This is my jam. But before we get into that, I think one of my last notes about Dada is that arguably it still has a legacy in the context of memes. So I know I talked about this before in like other streams, but like memes, especially as a reaction to like current events, especially like absurd current events, like, I don't know, gestures vaguely adds to the current state of affairs. Like, yeah, Man Ray. I really like his photos. I love Man Ray's photos because this is a good, his photos are a good example of like recontextualization. Him and there was also a Russian photographer. I'm unfortunately forgetting his name, but he did a really good job of taking pictures of like patterns that he saw. Oh my god, what's his name? I remember studying him like in my history of photography class. But he would just take pictures of like random textures that you see every day, like a bunch of shoes lined up right next to each other. But he turned them into like, I guess, like textures in a way. They're so interesting. Papa Paws absolutely despised his work, but I like it. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Man Ray's work. Okay. Oh no, I'm starting to lose my voice, and we still have to like research. We still have so much more to study. And I feel like my voice is going to go even more because I'm going to be talking about surrealism, and I love surrealism a lot. So, surrealism has roots close to Dada, but this one is more of a focus on the opus, the main idea of surrealism. Well, actually, I'll put it this way: drink water. Yeah, I probably should drink water. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go get some water because I don't have any water next to me right now. So how about I put you guys over in the cub corner, and then I'll be right back. I need to get some Wawa. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I got my water. Got my wawa. Let's get back to class. Okay. Like I said, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and it's surrealism. Let me get a little bit more zoomed in here. Okay, so surrealism, you might already be familiar with this term, and if you're not, a lot of people just associate it with like weird art. It's art that is strange, right? And some might think that it's just strange for strangeness sake, like it's just weird for the sake of being weird. But no, there actually is kind of an underlying thesis to it. There's like an underlying idea to it. And basically it's like I said, roots close to Dada, as in it's like kind of a reaction against the absurdity of war and like society. But this one focuses more on what I wrote here: unconscious, dreamlike, and irrational qualities. So I kept thinking she was talking about SpongeBob earlier. Drink water. Man Ray. But yeah, so basically think of surrealist art as like stuff from a dream, something that you might see from a dream. I also put here, despite these qualities, in many ways it feels like it's a bit more anchored and easier to recognize in comparison to Dada. Just because Dada is like meant to be like that. I don't know, like how do I say this? Dada is like just the idea of like being anti-art, and anything that makes you question the idea of art can be considered Dada. While surrealism is very specific to like having this dreamlike or irrational quality to it, if that makes sense. So basically, like it's harder to like, for example, with Art Deco, it's like, oh, if you see zigzag, sunburst, symmetry, bold and vibrant colors, it's probably Art Deco. While surrealism is a little bit looser, it's like if it looks like something from a dream, that's surrealism. Meanwhile, Dada is kind of like the loosest definition of like if it's something that makes you question art as like a thing, as a concept, that's Dada. So surrealism is therefore like kind of like in the middle of like how recognizable it is. But yeah, so there's a couple of like different, oh, we're so surreal. we're so dreamlike. Thank you, folk. I'm going to start here first with, I believe this is one of Andre Breton's work, and Pepette the Cats. And this is considered an automatic drawing. Basically, like the surrealists kind of got their start with this idea of like creating art, but not consciously. Like you're not thinking like, oh, I want to draw an apple, and you draw an apple. This is more of like, you're just kind of like unconsciously like making lines and shapes on the page. And it doesn't really matter if it does make up like I'm seeing some shapes here. I'm seeing things that look like fingers, but it doesn't necessarily have to be fingers. It could just be like what the person unconsciously did. And at first glance, that might sound very like, well, how do you unconsciously make art? But the answer to that is drugs. It's like, not always, but like it's said that the surrealists, they experimented either just with like deep meditation, but also hypnosis, but also some substances in order to create these like automatic drawings, right? So this is kind of the beginning of that, this idea of like unconscious art making. But then you start to see it kind of branch off. Hello, harpsichord enjoyer. You got your sticker. You got your sticker. You see like different artists like branch off in terms of like how they interpreted like making dream-like art. So these two are by Rene Magritte. This one over here is by Giorgio de Chirico, probably one of my most favorite surrealist artists. And then these two are by Salvador Dali, who I feel like a lot of people recognize the name Salvador Dali. He's probably one of the more like well-known surrealist artists. So let's actually start with Dali. Dali's art is probably what people consider like when they think of like surrealism as just being weird for the sake of being weird, right? Because it's like, oh, this guy must have been on some kind of substance, right? Like he painted melting clocks, and this one is interesting too. It's tigers coming out of a fish coming out of a pomegranate with a elephant in the background on stilts, and then his wife / muse Gala in the foreground. So right now it's like, oh yeah, probably Dali was like on some sort of drugs, but not necessarily. This is just more of like portraying what you might see in a dream or what might have come to him in a dream. And if you think about just how absurd dreams are by themselves, it kind of tracks, right? Like, have you guys ever had a dream where, oh my god, wait, what's that? What's that vine? Did you ever have a dream where you and then you and then it feels like and you and then you don't know what you're doing? Something like this was brought up in an episode of DS9. A character would draw a circle in the sand, and without picking up his finger, just subconsciously fill the circle with a shape or a pattern. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that very much is surrealism. Did you know he also designed the Chupa Chups logo? Wait, that's kind of sick. That's kind of cool. And you, and then you, and you want to do so much that you can do anything? Must have been on drugs is the low-hanging fruit line said by people with limited imagination. Yeah, I agree. I agree, folk. Yeah, like, I feel like it doesn't necessarily always have to be drugs. Like, I feel like you could achieve something like this if you just think about your own dreams, right? Like, I feel like I've had so many dreams where, like, when you're in the dream, everything makes sense. But then when you try to recount it when you're awake, it's like, why did I do that? like, why did that make sense? But, like, now that I recount it, it's like, I would never do that. Like, I feel like I've had dreams where, like, me and Beans will go on an, like, impromptu trip. And we'll, like, go to LAX and, like, navigate LAX and try to catch a flight. Like, right before it's about to board. But then things will happen like, oh no, like our baggage is missing, or we meet someone that we're not. I think I had a dream one time. I forget if I talked about this, but we were at LAX and I met Taco. Like, you guys know Taco from like the Random Nights, and I just remember like a dream like that, and it's one of those things that like in the dream it makes sense, but then when you wake up and you recount it, it's like I would never be at an airport like any less than like 3 hours ahead of my flight time. like if I have a flight at like 10 a.m., I'm there at 7, you know? like I would never be last minute to a flight ever in my life, especially if it's LAX. like ever. But like, you know, in the dream it makes sense. It's like, oh no, we gotta catch our flight. Oh my gosh. Like, and now our baggage is like missing. And like in real life, I would never, you know? like, and then yeah, just the randomness of like, oh, I'm meeting someone that like I have never met in real life, you know, like Taco from the Random Nights. Some people just have odd things in their head that they decide to put on paper or canvas. Exactly, folk. Yeah, exactly. So like, I think this is a like. We don't know if there was any like use of substances with any surrealist art, but it's also, like I said, very possible that they're just channeling something that they saw in their dreams. So like, for example, if I were to paint a picture of me, you know, as Babinka Bear and me with Beans, and we're rushing to catch a flight, and there's also Taco of the Random Nights, but then also my teeth are falling out, but also like I'm running, you know, like like super sluggishly, then that might come off as a surrealist painting, right? You would never give a presentation in front of a class with no clothes on? Without my jacket and my kicks on? I would never give a presentation when I have a silly green apple on my head and I'm not wearing pants and we're in a strange surrealist hellscape with my photorealistic cats on the desk. Wait a minute. The jacket stays on. Exactly. So yeah, that's like the essence of surrealism. I'm actually gonna go over De Chirico last because he's probably one of my favorite surrealist artists. This is the art of Rene Magritte. The reason why I have an apple on my head is because Magritte has an apple in front of this guy's face. But I feel like Magritte might be like kind of a more digestible way of understanding surrealist art, because I showed this one to my dad and he kind of got it, because my dad is one of those people that like, oh, I don't get modern art, I don't get contemporary art, like why not just make a photorealistic picture, right? But I showed him this one and I told him like what this translates to, of like, oh, this is not a pipe, and it kind of clicked for him. He was like, oh, it's saying it's not a pipe. And he started getting into the whole like, oh, it's a picture of a pipe. But then by it being a picture, doesn't that mean like in our brain it is a pipe? And we just had this like interesting conversation about like, you know, the meaning of like art and like how art is portrayed. So I feel like in that way, like Magritte is like a good way to like study surrealism, because it's almost like like uncanny in terms of how he depicts surrealism. It's almost like everything is very ordinary except for like one thing. Like in this case, like this is just a dude, but why does he have a floating apple, right? There's also another painting where it's like a completely ordinary like cityscape, but there's men falling. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men, you know? You and Beans painted as your bears in the style of the family portrait where you two are sitting in the neat little sweaters and have your cat children in your laps as babies. Exactly. That I feel like people would depict that as like surrealist, right? That's surrealist art. And this is the work of Giorgio de Chirico, who I would say is one of my favorites just because this is the most dreamlike to me personally. Because Chirico draws a lot of empty landscapes, or it's like almost empty. Like there will be one or two other people. Let me see if I can actually get another de Chirico picture up here. He draws these like empty, like city landscapes, often with like a mix of different like architectural styles. Let me put it right there. We'll make this a little bit smaller. So here's another one, right? And there's like this weird empty feeling about it. It feels like almost like kind of somber, also a little like unnerving in a way because it's like almost completely empty. And the way the shadows are so like big and deep as well, it gives me a like kind of like a dreamlike feeling. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. There you go. Yeah, to me, this is like this one adheres the most to like my idea of surrealism because this feels like a dream that I've had before. Like me just wandering like an empty city, right? There's something like very unnerving about it, but also somewhat peaceful in a way. But that's just like how I think of it personally. For you, like maybe Salvador Dali is like, oh yeah, his paintings are very much like my dreams, or Rene Magritte is very much like my dreams. So I'm just focusing on these artists, even though there's like actually a whole bunch of other surrealist artists, including Frida Kahlo and Remedios Varo. I actually like those two a little bit more than I like Salvador Dali, for example. But they actually don't come into the spotlight until a little bit later. So I think Kahlo and Varo's works, they get a little bit more spotlight around the 30s, 40s. Because I think the 20s is when Frida Kahlo has her bus accident, which like inspires her to start painting. So she's still like at the very beginning of her art journey by this point. And then I'm actually not so sure about Remedios Varo, but these are examples of like later surrealist artists. But yeah, surrealism is definitely one of my favorite movements. Probably also why I like Hieronymus Bosch. But all right, we are, what is this, like 2 hours in? We're like 2 hours in, and we didn't do any research yet. So let's do that. Let's get into some research. Let's learn some things together. Because I was just going over some things that I already researched ahead of time, but I want to learn some more, preferably with you guys. Her canon event, exactly. Don't believe Hondora's lies. Wait, actually, I'm silly. Who is Ondore? Oh, Final Fantasy? Ondore. Okay, these are some things I want to research. I already looked a little bit into Georgia O'Keeffe, so maybe we'll come back to her. But one thing that I want to study is 1920s fashion and car designs. So I did already find a little bit of a article for us to follow along to. And this is going to be step one of us getting good at time guesser. All right? Because like what actually this whole Vogue article, I'll link this as well. It's fashion throughout the decades. Because it goes through like 1920s, 1930s, I think all the way to, oh, it just goes into the 1990s. Wait, it says 2010 though. So where are the other articles? But it's okay. It's okay. It's the meme scene from FF12 where the main character is going around trying to pretend he's a guy named Captain Bosch. Oh, Bosch. And you just go around spamming quotes at random NPCs. I'm Captain Bosch. I'm Bosch von Rosenberg. Don't believe Hondora's lies. I don't know why that reminds me of like press X to Jason. Jason! 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 Press X to Jason. It was a Mega 64 video too. Ooh, I'm down to check it out. But let me take a sip of water, and then let's study up on some 1920s fashion. Jason! Let me take a sip. Okie dokie. Sean! Sean! Yeah, press X to Sean. Okay, so a 1920s fashion history lesson, flappers, the bob, and more trends that made the roaring 20s roar. So I'm not going to read the whole article. I am just going to kind of like skim it and see that what we can kind of glean from it. But this first part does kind of talk about like the whole short hair, short skirt thing that I was talking about earlier, of how like women did feel a little bit more liberation from that, but not completely. There was still the expectation of like femininity, being a mother, being a family person, all of that stuff. Let's see here. Sportive craze. Chanel had slipped women into something more comfortable. The little black dress. The LBD was deemed such a closet mainstay that Vogue drew comparison to Ford's revolutionary Model T of 1908. Really, I'm interested in the little black dress now. What is this? Little, oh, I guess it's just the video. I guess it's just the video. I guess this is talking about like the transition of like black from like a color of mourning to like one of like high fashion. But okay. Let's see, a breakdown of these 1920s fashion trends. Oh, okay, here we go. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of like short hair here. Another thing that I'm noticing is the silhouette. The silhouette is very rectangular, except for here, you do see a little bit more of a silhouette. But this one is very like rectangular. It's very like straight down. And then this is like an exception over here. We have the cool little like bow. The tomboy look. Meet la garçon. I'm probably not saying that correctly. Let's see. 1920s wasn't ready for a full-on menswear inspired moment, but she was here for the La Garçon look. It was boyish, not mannish. Interesting. Yeah, look at the silhouette, right? I think that is an important distinction, right? They say that it's not mannish, but it is boyish. Unsculpt the female body, the silhouettes that draped over curves, no pinching or hugging. Ah, okay. So yeah, I was right. Like the silhouette is meant to be, it doesn't quite accentuate the curves, right? It's a little bit more geometric, kind of like the Art Deco, right? Kind of like the Art Deco that we were talking about earlier. No pinching or hugging is also called for a shorter hemline, which was only for young girls who could not embrace their femininity via fashion. Okay, so the only thing is, because we're so used to like really short skirts nowadays, like, or short shorts, because who loves short shorts? I love short shorts. I guess like before, it seems like the dresses were very big and they probably went down to your ankles, right? So when they say shorter hemline, it's still over the knee. Or at least this one is like over the knee. Do we get like, how short are we talking here? Do we get any that are like, yeah, like this is still like over the knee. Oh, this one's going a little, well, the thing is she's dancing. She's dancing, so the fabric of her dress is like in motion. But you are seeing knees here. the knees, oh my gosh. Yeah, a lot of these are still over the knees. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's scroll back up. But shorter hemline is still like, it's short compared to like what came before. So probably the hemlines before were like over the ankles maybe. Spicy ankle. House of Prime champion this aesthetic. Nowadays, cut hair, tiny hats pulled over down the eyes, bateau necks, and other little collars. We have absolutely nothing feminine left unless we see the pretty slender ankles. The ankles. But okay, so first hallmark that we're seeing, at least in women's fashion, is this lack of a silhouette. Or a lack of like a shapely, curvy silhouette. So the bob, the do of the decade. Let's see, Bernice bobs her hair. Cutting edge look, dancer Irene Castle. Oh, we already have another ad break? What the? Yeah, I know, how scandalous, showing the ankles. That felt quick. I can't believe we already have another ad break coming up. All right, let's see how much more we can get with talking about the bob, and then we'll come back to talk about the skirt hemlines. Controversial. It's the angular jet black bob. It wasn't just for vixens on stage. It went mainstream. Okay, so you're seeing the short hair. I don't know if this is the first time that like in the mainstream women had short hair, but it does become a pretty iconic look for the decade. That's what I'm getting from this. All right, let's go ahead and go over to recess. I'm all the way over here in the back. Over here, Cubs. Over here. If you would like a juice box, it's right next to me. But all right, I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna get back into talking about fashion. And then maybe we'll do our dailies too. Okay, we're back. I was eating some more of my sandwich. We share the one juice box. Dibs on the straw. Yeah, we only have enough money for the one juice box, so you guys are gonna have to share. But you guys are okay with that, right? Alright, so when we left off, I was also writing down my notes. So far we have the silhouette that doesn't accentuate the female curves. We have short hair, and now we are looking at skirt hemlines. Shins were on show. Ooh, showing the shins, I see. Nary a knee was on show during this era. Okay, cool. It's a common misconception that flappers wore dresses above the knee, though the daring flapper might have flashed them while seated. How daring! Controversial. Scandalous, even. Hemline historians cite 1926 of the peak of this trend with dresses and skirt hemlines rising, at first skimming the ankles, then up the mid-shin, then just below the knee. All the while, flesh-colored stockings sheathed the legs. So they still had stockings. Okay. I know, gasp. What the hecky? Let me write this down in my... I've been adding to the notes over here. So, short bob haircut, skirt hemlines, but never went above the knee, unless sitting down. Let's actually zoom in so you can see that as well. Okay, so we have slightly, you know, like shorter skirts, but not quite like short, you know? All right, flapper style. Descriptor of a flapper is being synonymous with trendy. The flapper look was the prevailing trend. Flappers were the girls who dressed the part. But what are we looking for to identify someone who is a flapper? Others trace flapper back to Victorian. Clutch your pearls. Young prostitutes. Look, see, when she's dancing, she's showing off the knees. I like this pose though. Look at him. He's freaking... He's hitting the swiggity swoogity. He's hitting the yoinky sploinky. You know, I actually don't know what the yoinky sploinky is, and I am afraid to say that. Like, I knew what the jerk was. You know, that you're a jerk. You're a jerk. I knew that, but I knew Harlem Shake, but I don't know what the yoinky sploinky is. I know the dab. I could hit the dab. Not this model, but in IRL can hit the dab. Okay, the cloche. A new hat style came calling. Fashionable lady of the 1920s wouldn't step outside without her hat. Come nightfall, she'd leave it behind. So you get this name for... Oh, a bell-shaped hat. A perfect pairing for the bob. A helmet-like hat for a helmet-like haircut. Ah, you know what? I'm gonna add that next to here. Plus a small bell-shaped hat. Okay. I only saw the yoinky sploinky as some random and stupid unnamed dance that people would put whenever somebody or something is moving really strangely, but it could also be a dance. Put as a caption, I mean. I first saw it when I became a Germa fan. Ah, I see. Yeah, I'm like, is yoinky sploinky actually a dance, or is it just like is it just kind of like a silly term, right? I'm curious. I'd be down to learn. Gotta hit the yoinky sploinky. So this is a cool page because it shows off everything that we've been talking about so far, with like this kind of rectangular silhouette, the skirts that are shorter but like not above the knees, the short hair, and the bell-shaped hat. So we're starting to like build a profile here of like how women dressed in the 1920s. And then we have the little black dress here. So Chanel 1926's little black dress was entirely modern. The look embraced black as a fashion color after a long and sorrowful history as a hue to mourn in. Ah, okay, so little black dress popularized black as a color for fashion after being long associated with mourning. Okie dokie. Let's see, fabric-wise, the silhouette put forth could be constructed in a variety of textiles. The look was a mainstay. Little black dress was appropriate for day and evening wear. Jersey by day, chiffon by night. Chic all day long. Cool. This also kind of has that rectangular silhouette too. The robe de style. Lesser celebrated, though no less prevalent, another novel silhouette was the robe de style. Ah, so it's not always just rectangular. So sometimes we do see some silhouette, some curvature there. In sync with the era, the silhouette showcased a bit of leg, but unlike the tubular look, there was a bit of body. The dress typically featured a gathered and expansive skirt, but with zero waist. Okay, so expansive waist, but zero waist. With exception to the, what's it called? Robe de style, which had big skirt but no waist. Almost like a bell. It is kind of like, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it does kind of look like an awkward silhouette because it's such a big jump to like the skirt, right? Like there's no curvature here. I kind of see what they're saying. There's no like curve. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but yeah, it's just kind of like an awkward, like, it's almost like you're building a mountain, you know? But that's just my opinion. That's my opinion! Top designers of the era, Chanel, Schiaparelli. I know nothing about fashion. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, as someone who wears the same black jacket that you see on me right now and the same white Adidas every single day, I know nothing about fashion. So even though I've heard of some of these names, actually, I think I've only heard of Chanel. Like the rest of these, not so much. I don't know who Schiaparelli is, Lanvin, Sours, Patou, Vionnet. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure they're interesting people. Okay, so that's women's trends. Let's take a look at men's trends. This might be a little harder for me to parse out, but let's do it. And then after we're done with this article, we'll see. Because a part of me wants to do our dailies, but I also want to look at the cars of the 1920s as well. So by the end of this, we'll hopefully be experts on like 1920s fashion, and we can probably identify a time guesser scene that's like in the 1920s, but watch all of our things today be like not the 1920s. Watch it all be like the 1910s or the 1960s, you know. Let's see. Yakuza hoodie, jeans of some kind, an ordinary t-shirt and shorts underneath. I'm not very fashionable either. Yeah, like I'm definitely someone who dresses for comfort over fashion. Like all of my at-home stuff. Let me think about it. I really do want to do one of those things. Have you guys seen people draw themselves, but like in their outfit of the day? I've thought about doing that before, of drawing Binka with like my outfit of the day. Because it's usually, if it's at home, I'm wearing like very loose yoga pants and like a cardigan and like a t-shirt. Like a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt or like something that I wouldn't usually like wear outside. If I'm at the office, it's usually like, actually, it's usually the same, but instead of like yoga pants, it's like jeans. If I'm at a school, I've learned to not wear like hoodies anymore because people mistake me for a kid, for a student. I learned about Japanese fashion Jirake from Tenchi Hazuki. She said she also likes art history. Oh, nice. Cool. But yeah, let's get into men's trends. So we finished off with women. So let's do for men. Oh, we're not gonna do that actually. Okay, so men's trends. During this decade, Paris gave the final word on women's wear. London set the tone for men. Oh, it's Edwardian fashion. The Prince of Wales. Hey, we heard about that guy. Did you guys know that he has a drink named after him? Suits went down from 3 to 2 pieces, and pinstripes were a popular choice, as were tweeds and flannels. Anything that evoked a Savile Row tailoring. I actually don't know what that is. Emolge, hello. Rinrin, hello. Oh my gosh, wait, that's right. I have something to show you guys. I actually already pasted it in here, but we're gonna finish off learning about 1920s men's fashion, and then remind me that I have something to show you guys that has to do with Emolge. They did a wonderful job on something. And I definitely want to show it off. It's already like pasted in here and everything. It's just hidden. But hello, Emolge. We're learning about 1920s fashion right now. So let's see. It says here suits went down from 3 to 2 pieces. So I guess they don't have like the vests anymore? Like, wait, what is the third piece? I'm actually very ignorant when it comes to like men's fashion. When they say like a 2-piece, 3-piece suit, what do they mean by that? I might have to look some things up. So actually give me a second. What is a 3-piece suit? Well, what is the third piece? Classic formal menswear ensemble comprising of a matching jacket, trousers, and waistcoat. So what's a two-piece suit? Is it without the vest? Oh, it's without the vest. I see. I see. So it's got, this guy has the vest though. And then anything that evokes Savile Row tailoring. I'm gonna look this up as well. Men's bespoke tailoring that took place on Savile Row and neighboring streets in Mayfair, central London. I see. Let's see. What does it say here? So two-piece, pinstripe, tweeds, and flannels. Well, that's the thing. I don't even know like the difference between these either. I've only read about those things from the Derek guy in Zitter. Oh, okay, Zitter. Oh yeah, the Derek guy. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. The suit guy. Let's see, pinstripe suits. Oh, they literally have stripes on them. Okay, so I'll write this down. For men, it was two-piece suits, pinstripes, tweed, and flannel. When I think of flannel, I think of like the modern definition, or the modern like idea of flannel, where it's like a flannel shirt, right? Like a long sleeve shirt. But in this context, is it more talking about the design? Like a flannel design, right? And then tweed. What is tweed? What's tweed suit? Oh, I see. It's like kind of or is it a material? What are tweed suits? Durable textured suit made from, oh, rough woven wool. I see. So tweed. So pinstripes have stripes. If there's anyone that knows more about suits, and feel free to correct me, because yeah, I know nothing about suits, so I'm like, what actually is tweed? I've heard the term, but I actually don't know what it is. So, durable with fabric made of wool. And then a flannel suit? Like I said, I'm used to like a flannel shirt. Soft, stylish warm suit made from... Oh, it's a type of fabric! It's a type of fabric that's soft and warm. I'm learning so much today. Flan. Oh, flannel. I just got an update. Oh, okay. Lumberjack flannel. Yeah, that's what I think of, right? Like lumberjack flannel. Let's see. Yeah, so I actually didn't know, like, you know, what pinstripe, tweed, and flannel actually meant, but now I do. Let's see. What else? What else? Anything that evokes Savile Row tailoring and English country living as epitomized by the prince. Two pant trends uphold this tweedy aesthetic. The Oxford bags, a wide leg pant said to be inspired by those worn by rowers, and the +4s worn for golf. On their heads, a Magritte style bowler hat. Ah, okay. So something like this. Let me actually take a copy of this. I'll post this here. And actually, we need an example for the gals as well. I think we had this one. This was a good example of everything that we learned about women's fashion so far. So we got some shorts. We got some shorts. HDTQW5, hello. We're learning about 1920s fashion because I know nothing about fashion. Have you seen what I'm wearing? Nothing, that tells you. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put here inspired by King Edward. No, he was a prince at the time, so Prince Edward. And English country living. And then we have some, let's see, two pant trends. I'm gonna just copy this. So, two pant trends, the Oxford bags, and then the +4s worn for golf. Though it doesn't explain like what that looks like. So is it like this? It's a little bit wider, right? So wide pants. Prince of Wales and Prince... Oh, that's Prince Hirohito. Huh. In 1926, okay. Wait, is that it for men's fashion? Because it just goes right into like cultural stuff. The Harlem Renaissance lit up the world and gave it something to listen to, with jazz musicians and band leaders like Duke Ellington setting the soundtrack of the decade. Nice. This is also a cool picture. Or maybe we should get less pictures. Oh, this is so cool. I like this design a lot. Let's actually take a picture of this. Because this also feels very 1920s. That's cool. Oh, that's it. That's it for the 1920s style. There's not a lot on men's fashion. It's literally just like, oh, they dress like Prince Edward. Okay, okay. Well, I guess we did get like kind of the bare bones of like, we got a lot for like women's fashion. We got a little bit for men's fashion. What if I look up 1920s men's fashion, what's gonna happen? Oh, okay. I found another site that could help us out in this regard. Here we go. Vintage dancer. What did men wear in the 1920s? So suits three-piece. Oh, this is saying it's three-piece suits. Okay, with wide lapels and high-rise cuff trousers. Shirts were narrow striped dress shirts. Pants and breeches, coats, sweaters, vests, hat. Oh, this has a lot. Okay, here's a good visual. Oh, I can't copy it. I might have to just screenshot it. Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm not really seeing as much of the those like wide pants that they were talking about. Dapper men in wool summer suits and two-tone shoes. Oh, cool. But we are seeing the pinstripes, and we're still seeing three-piece suits. Okay. Oh, this is a good picture right here. Yes, that one is pink. There's pink suits. Very nice. Shirt lapels grew wider each year. Peak lapel became the new trend, and a slit pocket became a new feature in suits. Ah, okay, so slit pocket and wide lapels. Slit pocket and wide lapels later into the 20s. Okay, we're learning. Let me take a screenshot. Okay, so we're seeing like mostly suits, right? Because we're not gonna be seeing like folks in their undies. Oh, what's this? A cricket team wears striped blazers, white trousers, and boater hats. I also like the one of like the two-tone shoes. This one is also pretty cool. I see. Oh, there's pinstripes like what's it called? Shirts as well. Okay. All right, so I think we're building up a bit of a profile for both men and women of the 1920s. Last thing we'll do is let's take a look at some cars. All right, this one I'm gonna be a little less like knowledgeable on, just because I don't know cars in general. But I was originally planning on drawing these cars because I feel like that's gonna be the best way for me to like identify certain features. But for now, I'm too lazy to set up my iPad and the program to like screen share my iPad. So we're just gonna take a look at some pictures, and then we're gonna finish off the stream with some time guesser and hope that we get at least one thing from the 20s. And if not, that's just how the cookie crumbles, you know, that's just how the bebinka crumbles. So the cool thing is this page, I'll link this page again. It does go over like all the way to the 1890s. Wait, cars by the decade. I'll link this one in chat as well. So you have cars by the decade, even when like they were first invented. And then I did read a little bit of this before stream. It says mostly like the first cars were mostly like mostly just for rich people, and they resembled more so what does it say? Horseless carriages, right? But even then I'm like, I don't know what that means. So this looks pretty interesting though. Look at this. It kind of, this really does look like a horseless carriage. But you know what I want to do maybe off stream is I do want to like try my hand at drawing some of these. And that way I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, the wheels on this one are like a lot bigger, or like the, I don't know, the engine part sticks out. Because some like at first when I like look at these, they look like wacky racers. You guys familiar with like wacky racers, like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon? Let me see if I can find it. Wacky racers. It's the one with the dog, with the dog that goes. Wacky racers. 80s baby. Oh, the picture doesn't get any bigger. But yeah, it's like one of them old like Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I just remember the dog that like laughs like that. He laughs like that was my favorite on Boomerang. Yeah, I love this. Like I remember I didn't really watch a lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I kind of did. I was gonna say that when I used to live in the Philippines for like, I say live in the Philippines, but it was really only for like half a year. When I was like 5 or 6 or something, I remember like their Cartoon Network in the Philippines was a lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So I remember watching like Wacky Racers. I watched what is it? Magilla Gorilla? Gorilla for sale. Gorilla for sale. And then, oh, who was the spy? Spy Squirrel. Oh, what was the squirrel? That was a spy? He also had like Morocco Mole as his like buddy, you know? Him and the Duck Hunt dog would get along nicely. Yeah, exactly. The yeah, Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah, there was an era of Hanna-Barbera cartoons where it was just like Scooby-Doo but different. Like you got the it was like Scooby-Doo but instead it was like a shark. Yeah, Super Secret Squirrel. I think that was the one. I think that was the name of that one. And his buddy Morocco Mole. I kind of remember that. But all right. But yeah, these cars to me they remind me of Wacky Racers, but I can't quite put my finger on like, oh yeah, it looks like I don't know, this part that I assume houses the engine is very long, right? But the thing that I do know because of my research of the 1920s that I did just today is that but I love the Swan car. This is 1910, but look at this. This looks like something you'd see in like the 90s. Maybe it's because of the photo quality, but it like looks like something you'd find in like Michael Jackson's house, you know? But by the 1920s, cars were becoming a little bit more affordable because of like the assembly line. Actually, we can read a little bit of what it says here. So let me scroll back up. 1900 saw the automobile transition from a novelty for the wealthy to a more common mode of transportation. Mass production techniques like those pioneered by Henry Ford. Oh, so this is when Henry Ford's like what is it, assembly line thing was becoming, you know, a thing. Began to make cars more affordable while innovations in design and engineering improved their reliability and performance. This era laid the groundwork for the automobile's widespread adoption. And then, let's see. The 1910s were a decade of rapid innovation and growth for the automobile, with mass production significantly increasing affordability and accessibility. This era saw the rise of iconic models like the Ford Model T, advancements in engine technology, and development of key features like electric starters and headlights. Oh, they didn't have headlights before? Some of them do. Oh yeah, some of these don't have headlights. Oh, interesting. So if we do Time Guesser and we see a car with no headlights, it was likely 1900s. Okay, good to know. Oh wait, let me go back up here. Let's see. Headlights further solidifying the automobile's place in a modern society. Ah, okay. Okay, so headlights, good to know. Like how computers were tens of thousands before, or the lobster was a peasant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, computers used to be like the size of a whole room. And they used to be like super expensive, like only like NASA or like, you know, special super like specialized programs would use computers. And yeah, lobsters used to be like a peasant thing and then became like fine dining, right? The RCA IBM wars. The Corpo Wars. Yeah, developed by the interwebs. Okay, 1920s cars roared. Because, get it? Because the 20s were roaring. Oh, my nose is getting itchy again. Oh, no. The 1920s roared with automotive advancement as car ownership boomed and design shifted from purely utilitarian to stylish and comfortable. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good detail. So now we're starting to see some style in there. Closed body. Wait, we're starting to see style, and yet the Swan car was the 1910s. I'm never gonna stop thinking about the Swan car. I don't know. So there's just something about it. Oh, the military. Yeah, exactly. The military were like the main people using like computers back then, right? Okay. Closed body sedans gained popularity, and technological innovations like electric starters and improved braking systems became commonplace. This era saw the rise of manufacturers like Chrysler and the emergence of the muscle car concept with powerful engines in otherwise ordinary looking cars. Okay. Let's take a look at some of these cars. The engine, or like I said, what I'm assuming houses the engine, it just looks a lot wider. The wheels are pretty big. Like I said, I feel like I need to draw these in order to really grasp like the differences. Because right now I can't quite put into... I feel like I get dumb when I start thinking about like cars. I was telling Beans about this earlier. It's like the one big glaring weakness in like my jack of all trades like knowledge of things. It's like, oh, I could tell you a lot about astronomy, paleontology, art history, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, linguistics. But when it comes to cars, I'm just like, you press the pedal and it go forward. But if you have on the prindle, if it's on the it go backward. But if it's P, it don't move. Like, and you move wheel so that it move other wheel. Like I feel so dumb when I think about like how cars work and stuff. You know, like it's the big glaring like if you take a subsection of my brain, it's like anime knowledge, bear knowledge, astronomy, paleontology, art history, linguistics, and like the tiniest little smidge for cars. It was called the Roaring Twenties because ne'er-do-wells would regularly release lions and tigers into populated areas. Yeah, that's actually true. It's me. I'm the no, it's you guys. You guys are the ne'er-do-wells. And that's where all the roaring came from. Did you know? Tell us about the vaunted chariot culture of ancient Egyptians. I feel like that counts as like automobile history. Like, it's like if it's like ancient cultures, anything that has to do with like vehicles, like if you ask me about the vehicles of like Hindu gods, I'll be like, I don't know, man. One of them is a rat, I'm pretty sure. I started getting into car repair content because I lack knowledge about how cars work too. Oh, maybe I should get into car repair stuff. I know there's like a mechanic simulator game, right? Maybe I should get into that just so I could figure out how cars work. The roaring dickities. Yeah. Like, have you heard how people are trying to say aughts to refer to like the 2000s? I've heard people say aughts, like, oh yeah, I remember the early aughts. Like, I've heard at least like 5 people refer to it like that way, and I was like, what did you just say? The what? We aren't in the 20th century anymore. Just call it the 2000s. The roaring dickity. I do like the sound of the roaring dickities though. We should call the 2020s that. The job sim games like to tell fun and interesting lies. That is true. We didn't we talk about this with like what is it, PC building simulator? It lies. Sometimes it tells cheeky lies. Os! The roaring dickity. Yeah, the aughts. As in they ought to just call it the 2000s. Wait, I'm gonna pin that. I love that. As in they ought to call it the 2000s. Thank you, folk. Thank you. Yes, I should respond with that. I should. But the next time someone tries to call the early 2000s the odds, I'm gonna respond with that. Good one, fellow bear. Oh, they had Bugattis back. Oh, we can't see a picture of it, but show me the Bugatti. There is no Bugatti. The Bugatti was a lie. Oh, this is what a Bentley looked like. See, I'm familiar with some of these names, but I don't actually know what they mean. Like, we have to call them the Dickities because the GOP had stolen our word 20. And you see, I used to tie an onion to my belt, as was the style at the time. Yeah, see, like, I know what... I've heard the name Aston Martin because it's a VTuber. I've heard of Mercedes because I just hear a lot of people complaining about Mercedes drivers, but I actually don't know what any of that means. Renault. What is a Citroen? A Bentley. A Chrysler. I've heard the name Chrysler. Mary Chrysler. Alfa Romeo. Stutz. Duesenberg. I've heard of Fiats as well. It's interesting to see like these somewhat familiar names, and it's like, oh, I've heard of that. But okay. We are seeing some. Once again, I really just have to like learn how to draw these so I can like figure it out. Cause like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, how is it different from this? Brain Horty. This looks like a canoe. It looks like a carrot. Let's see. Well, I'm noticing that quite a few of these cars have like the spare wheel on the side. Like over here, right? Or is it a spare wheel, or did they just put third wheels on these things? I know that sounds silly, but like that's the spare wheel, right? Like if your wheel like wait, is it symmetrical? Like is it on both sides? Because we're only seeing like one side here. Those also spin? You know, I don't know anything about cars. I don't know if you're joking or if that's really if it really spins or not. It was the style at the time. Ah, okay. All-wheel drive. Exactly. Hello, Fish Sticks. Hello. I like that name. Fish Sticks 95. It's all-wheel drive. You drive all the wheels. They spin to maintain balance on the main. Wait, really? That's interesting. I want to see this one. You know, there is a car museum here in Los Pincos. Nope, all lies. Dang it. One of these days, I'm going to put a redeem that's going to write gullible on the ceiling. It'll be a fun redeem where it's just like very obviously on the ceiling and I'm like looking up. Okay. Even though I haven't drawn these, I'm trying really hard to. No, don't laugh. No, I'm not a jerk. I'm just a little silly. I'm just a little silly. I swear. The spinning actually served no real function, so it did spin, is what you're saying. The wheels do be spinning, mayhaps even all-wheel drive, is what you're saying. Just a simple emoji. A simple emoji is enough for me to be like, Are the Cubs lying to me again? Alright, should we try Time Guesser? I'm scared that like despite everything we've like looked at with the cars, I'm still gonna be like, is it the 60s? Like, let's try it out. Let's try it out, shall we? Oh, my chat. I have to scroll down. There we go. Okay. Shall we time guess? Shall we guess the time? Okay, let's do this. Okay. It's black and white. Atomic Bomb variety review. Hula hula coochie coochie. Is this appropriate? Is this classroom appropriate? Coochie coochie. Smile Art Studio camera. MG Arquintos. Tech Sioson. Wait, is this Philippines? Wait, is this the Philippines? These sound like last names that you would find like among Filipinos, right? Like Sioson and Quintos. And I don't know, Kuchi Kuchi. I could imagine my relative saying something sussy wussy like that. Kuchi Kuchi. I mean, they look like they could be Filipino, but they look like Southeast Asian. I don't know, something about the hair. Like that looks like a tita that I would like see, right? Kuchi! Exactly, Kuchi Kuchi. But I think we are also seeing some, what is this, like American soldiers? Yeah, they look, well, I don't know if they're American, but they They don't look... No, this one could pass as like mestizo, right? But this one looks European. I assume the sound of tickling someone at the time. Oh yeah, like coochie coochie coo. I don't know. I'm thinking something else. What is this? 30 minutes? This feels like it would be like the Philippines, right? But maybe I'm psyching myself out. Because look, there's also like Hawaiian stuff here. Hula hula coochie coochie, you know? It's for me, it's like the little like names over here. Like, but I don't know if I've ever met someone whose last name is Shoson. I've met people whose last name are like Tiongson. Like SON is like an ending to some of the like last names that I've heard. But I don't know. Shall we take a chance? Let's go Manila. The fashion though, I'm not sure. This looks like post-war, right? But if they're talking about the atomic bomb, it should be post-World War II. So that could be 50s, could be 60s. Even this architecture is very interesting. I want to say, let's should we do 50s? The hat's on the guys to the right. Goji, you have to remember that I don't know my left from my right. The hats. It's like the newspaper boy hats, right? Maybe this is like soon after the war. Actually, the end of the war did also bring the end of American occupation of the Philippines. So maybe it is like directly after the war. So let's put like 47 maybe? Are very of that time. The newspaper boy hats. Atomic Bomb Variety Review. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the hat. They look like, you know, the usual newspaper boy hats. Like, extra, extra, read all about it. But I can't, like, pinpoint that to a specific decade, unfortunately. Let's say 49. Make a guess. 4 years off! It was right after the war! And it is in the Philippines. Yeah, it is in Manila. We were pretty close. We were pretty close. Okay. Nice. This has to be the 1920s. No, I'm just kidding. I also thought just after the war, but I didn't think it would be that. Yeah, no, exactly. Same. I was like, maybe it's like a little bit after the war, but no, it's like right after the war. That was epic. This has to be the 1920s. I mean, just look at them. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's see what we can glean from this. Le cumplimos al país. I thought it said cumpleaños. I was like, is someone's birthday? Trabajo por el cambio. Maybe, I think the ribbons might hint at a specific country flag. But this is Spanish. The only thing is that doesn't necessarily... Oh, wait, we have some colors. We have some colors. Is this Colombia? We're gonna have to... Oh, wait, this looks like... Wait, what is this? El Congreso de... I can't read that. Bolivar? Okay. Bolivia? And then what is this? Trabajo por el cambio. Is there any clues as to... The makeup and fashion look very, like, late 2010s? Maybe even 2020s? No, I don't see anyone wearing a mask. Oh, wait, look at her, look at her phone. We can't see how many lenses there are. Ah, oh, dang it. I hear Schnackery in the back. Give me a second. Alright, Schnackery is in the premises. Okay, so Bolivia? Wait, am I right to assume Bolivia because of Simon Bolivar? Is that Simon Bolivar? I'm just assuming, like... Bolivia. What's the capital? Is it La Paz? It was the first city that like popped up when you like zoom out, so I'll say La Paz. Yeah, okay, let's try to find out the time period. I feel like this is like all the smartphones make me want to think this looks like maybe 2020. AirPod? When did AirPods come out? Is this 2020s? Wait, legit, when did AirPods come out? Because I know I started using them like after the pandemic. But I actually don't know if like they've been a thing since like the 2010s. Let's say 2020s. Maybe just this past year? Bolivia 2025? Beans, hello. I think like 2017 plus. Oh, so it could be before the pandemic. Because like no one's wearing masks, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like before or after the pandemic, you know? Like if they're wearing masks, it would be 2021. Because if it was 2020, no one would be outside, you know? Let's say 2025 Bolivia. No, it's Colombia in Bogota. I did say Colombia earlier. Dang it. But it is 2025 though. We got the time spot on, which is very rare for me. Usually I get the location, but not the time. I should have checked the flag. Hey, Dweem Tweem. The Dweem Tweem. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm seeing some black folks. On the other side is white folks. So this could be the US. This could be South Africa. This could be like an African country, or this could, wait, what does this say here? Engineers? Are these passports? Look at their fashion. I'm not seeing like the pinstripes. I am seeing suits. But maybe this is like a little bit after like the 1920s. Wait, what are they wearing? They're not wearing suits at all. So suspenders. I'm actually not entirely sure. I can't even be sure of like the location. Because this could, like I said, this could be America. Could also be like, you know, South Africa. Let's say US. The only thing is I have no idea like what city. Like I'm not seeing anything. Like I could read engineers here, but is there anything that could give us a hint as to like where this is? I want to say America. I like how bothered like everyone looks. Everyone's just like, do you mind? Like we're kind of in the middle of something right now. Let's say Atlanta. Let's say Atlanta, Georgia. I just don't know the time period. I feel like this would be a little later than the 1920s. Let's say 1950. Just a wild guess. Like this is literally like shot in the dark. Oh, it was South Africa. Dang it. I even said South Africa. Queuing to obtain replacement passbooks after destroying them in protest during the nationwide anti-pass campaign. Ah, okay. They're bothered. It's funny when you read why. Oh, yeah. That followed the Sharpeville massacre during apartheid. Oh, dang. And it was 10 years off. I see. Yeah, like I could imagine why they would be bothered. Dang. Yeah, I knew nothing about this. But okay, so yeah, South Africa. Was this specifically the capital? Was it Pretoria? Is Pretoria the capital, or is it Johannesburg? Oh no, Cape Town. I'll tell you right now, I don't know too much about South Africa, but I should learn. Not haha funny. Yeah, no, I totally got what you mean. All right, let's keep on keeping on. We're on number 5. Ooh, what is this? Whoa. This is some kind of statue. Okay. Oh, interesting. Something about this feels kind of Art Deco-ish. Oh, wait, look at, we got the suits with the big lapels. And we have some older ladies here. Oh, where is this? Okay, we're seeing some umlauts over here. We're seeing some O's with some umlauts. Is that, like, you think Germanic? These boxes, it looks like it says salut, but like salut, like, you know, bless you. So architecture, I'm not so sure. This is kind of hard. This is a hard one. Tag yourself, I'm the guy face palming on the steps. I'm this one. The statue checking the time. Wait, what is this? Is this an alligator? This feels very Art Deco, but maybe because we were just talking about Art Deco. So maybe 1920s and after. There are the lapels. Let's see. Kind of pinstripe, but that's a shirt that more than a suit. The glass, those shades kind of look like cat's eye, right? Like cat's eye shades. The thing is, these are older ladies, and because they're older ladies, they might not be wearing like the contemporary fashion. I actually have no idea where this could be. Even though like we are seeing like an umlaut, I don't know if that's like Germany. I do have one Google search, right? Should I look up what countries have an umlaut? Have like the double like dots? This one's kind of hard. I'm thinking like a Germanic country in the 1930s. Let's do 1930s. And then let's look up, let me hide this. What countries use umlaut O? So German. I'm seeing German alphabet. The O with the umlaut appears in the German alphabet. It represents umlauted form of O, resulting in OE. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. The Danish-Norwegian O with the cross in front of it is like the German-Swedish O with the umlaut. Oh, it could also be Swedish. Uh-oh. It occurs in two other Germanic languages, Swedish and Icelandic, but it is regarded there as a separate letter. So this could be... Oh, it could even be Austrian too. When in doubt, umlaut out. So it could really be Germany. It could be Austria, but it could also be, what is it, Swedish? And Icelandic. Uh-oh. We didn't narrow it down as much as I thought. Sweden. Every time you think it's Stockholm, it's actually Copenhagen. And when you think it's Copenhagen, it's Oslo. And when you think it's Oslo, it's actually Gothenburg or something like that. This one might be another shot in the dark. This one might be another shot in the dark, but maybe we'll do... let's do Austria? You guys want to do Austria? Let's do Vienna. And hope for the best. Make a guess. 28 years off, and it's freaking Stockholm! How what Pexcool just said, Arthur shaking fist at Sweden. That's how I feel right now. It's like, that's how I feel right now, and it's in the 50s. No. Last one. This is probably Philippines. Just kidding. Okay, so this is Bear America. This is so cute. Wait, they're little like, are they like little scouts? You think with the paw, are they Cub Scouts, you think? You got churches shaking fist. It's always freaking Stockholm. Ooh, okay, we can get some information here. The logo is 2000, the Pepsi logo, isn't that kind of 2000s? Tuesday, Friday, 10 a.m., 6 p.m. Wiener Schnitzel. I do love me the... Well, it's actually been a while since I've eaten at Wiener Schnitzel. I don't think they have anything pescatarian there. Other than, like, the cookies. Isn't the logo is, like, 2000s, right? Or maybe 2010s? Because they changed it. Maybe that's gonna be our Google search. But we do also have to figure out like where this is. Oh, it's the current logo. Okay. I thought they changed it back. I feel like a lot of businesses are changing back to like quote unquote, oh, New Mexico. So somewhere in New Mexico. What's the capital of New Mexico? Is it New Mexico? Albuquerque? Let's do Albuquerque. Yeah, a lot of like the Burger King logo is going back to like its classic logo. Shiopi, hello. Where we learned a lot about 1920s fashion and stuff. And now we're trying to test our knowledge, even though none of the pictures we've gotten so far have been from the 1920s. But that's okay. That's okay. We're building on our knowledge. Kids Badge says 2013, not sure if accurate. Oh, really? Let me see. Donde? Ah, wait, what did I do? Okay. And one of them with a 2013. Oh, wait, there you go. It does say 2013. But this could be like, you know, Counselor of the Year of 2013. Yeah, I think maybe it is a kid. So it could be, it should at least be 2013. Because let's just say that's like an old badge they have. It could be like, oh yeah, this is my badge from like last year. So 2013 New Mexico. Yeah, let's just try 2013. That might be our best bet. It is 2014. They were wearing like a different, like, this is my badge from last year. But we got it pretty close and we even got the right location. So it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So very nice. We at least got our first and our last ones. Pretty good. Nice. And here's a summary of all of our misses. We got the Philippines one right. We got the America one, like, pretty right. The Albuquerque one. This one we were way off. We didn't even have the right continent. This one, it's always freaking Stockholm. And then this one, we at least got the right continent. So let's share results. Put it in the daily games. The syndrome of Stockholm. But all right, we tested our knowledge. We learned a lot about 1920s fashion, art, and cars. But off stream, I'm gonna freaking learn how to draw cars. But I hope you enjoyed today's style study. If you want me to keep doing stuff like this, do let me know, because we're gonna do the 1930s sometime in the near future. I haven't decided yet if I want to do this once a month or like twice a month. We will get through it faster if we do twice a month, right? Would you believe I also guessed the south of the US instead of South Africa? I feel like we're of one mind in that regard, right? Of like, all right, if it's like predominantly like black people, I feel like it would be US South, but not really thinking about like, oh yeah, apartheid. So we're of the same mind. But yeah, like in terms of like the style study, I liked, this was fun. This was fun because I was able to share a lot of like what I already know and then learn a lot of things alongside y'all. I want to keep on doing this with the other decades. Like I said, either I'll do it like every 2 weeks or once a month. The uniform men on the left half of the screen gave me pause on it being the South. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, I'm having fun with this. I'm also thinking next time I'll give you guys more of a heads up that I'm going to do a style study. That way, I might also ask on the Discord, like, oh, what would you like to see from like this era? You know? Because I did say at the beginning of the year, I do want to involve the Bebinkubs more in like the planning of some of my streams. And as I was planning for the 1920s, I was like, I feel like there's like spots that I'm missing in terms of like art or like history. And if any of you are like, oh, you know what? I actually know a lot about the Great Depression, or I know a lot about, I don't know, like art and philosophy of the time or stuff like that. I'll bring it up in the Discord and you guys can also help me out in that regard. But also doing the research for this also like is fun too, because some of it is like a lot of review. So I feel like next time we might bring up photography because of the Great Depression. Like I said, that infamous picture of like the mother and her children. But I'm also curious about what else we're gonna find in the 1930s. So especially with fashion and car design. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely did. Fishsticks95, thank you for joining the class. I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope you enjoyed learning about the 1920s with me. So we do have our last thing of the evening. I need to know when and where were the bell-bottom jeans in fashion. I would typically say like the 60s and 70s, right? Oh, let's snooze that ad. Because we're actually gonna end soon. We have to do our mosh pit though. I want to say 60s, 70s, and then they kind of came back into fashion like kind of around the 90s, and yeah, exactly what Gojikins said, like 60s, 70s, and 90s. Yeah. Like, because I remember my mom had like bell-bottom jeans, and she grew up in the 70s. Wait, right? Yeah, she was born in 66. So she like grew up in like the 60s and 80s, and then she like handed them down to me, but I remember being like, "Oh, I don't like bell bottoms that much." And then she was like, "But they're kind of in fashion again." And she was kind of right. Like, she was kind of right, but I was a stubborn cub. Always the stubborn cub. So, yeah, that's today's stream. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Ooh, you're seeing the stream stuff. I'm gonna be playing tomorrow. Oh, we're gonna finally finish off Case of the Golden Idol. I have one case left, so it might actually be a short stream. Or maybe we'll yap, like after we're done with Golden Idol. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. So, yeah, I'm gonna be seeing you guys tomorrow morning, but we're gonna do our end of stream mosh pit. For those who've never done this with us before, the end of stream mosh pit is I usually play some music that you guys can mosh to. This time it's going to be K-pop. It's going to be more XG, because as you might have noticed from today's playlist, I've been digging XG. Ah! Open up the pit! But all you gotta do is when you hear the music, spam your favorite emotes. And I'm going to make your little avatars down there on the floor fight each other. There's no correlation between how many emotes you spam and who wins the mosh pit. It's RNG, and it's not rigged. Don't believe what the other cubs say, especially if you're a new student. Don't believe the other cubs. They like to fib sometimes. They like to Fibonacci sequence. It's a thing that they do. But alright, let's get to moshing and I'll see who we can raid into. Raise the volume on this. RNG rigged and gamed. No! Oh, dang it. That's not how you spell mosh pit. Get to moshing. All right, I know who we're gonna raid into. He's a fan favorite, this one. Peck School, you won the mosh pit. Let's go. It was close, it was close. I saw that, I was watching. But can you win round 2? Oh wait, I hope the person I'm gonna raid into, I hope he's not like I hope he's not about to end right now. It's not rigged, exactly. It's not. Is there anyone who's in Casper stream? Like, can you tell me if he's about to end soon? Because I was planning on raiding into him. I almost threw at the end. Dang, I think he's about to end. Dang it. Okay. It's down to Emolge and Peck School. Peck Sweep? Alright, I don't know if Casper's about to end, because I was about to raid into him, but I think he might be ending soon, so we could also do shindigs. Oh! Emolge, I think Emolge's gonna get it! Emolge, you prevented the Peck School sweep! You did it! See, we have two different winners that aren't me. Eevee! Yahoo! Yanchagogo is Filipino? Or is that a person that you want me to raid into? GG got by the Wayward Health Pack. Yeah. Oh, the Manananggal? Is that their name? Yanchagogo? I'm trying to like copy their name right now. Let me search. Yanchagogo? Oh, okay. I see. Okay, we can raid into this person. Especially if they're a Manananggal streamer, that's pretty awesome. Thank you for the lovely stream. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. I'm glad that you guys like this style study. Because more Filipino friends. O, diba? Let's do it. A wrestler? Wait, that's kind of sick. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm really glad that you guys like the style studies. I'm excited to do more of this. So tune in next time for that. But I will see you guys tomorrow for some Case of the Golden Idol and maybe some yaps. But let's go ahead and start raiding into Yanchagogo, a Manananggal streamer. They seem like they will be really cool. So peace and love, fun stream. Thank you. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. And of course, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye-bye. We raid.